forward for a 2-week period anyways. For the time being, that has brought the market back to, well, I mean, flat-ish on the day. The Dow 0.2 to the downside now, S&P 0.16 back to the upside. But look at the NASDAQ still holding out nicely. Almost a full percent in positive territory here. The TSX here in Toronto, 0.15 back in positive territory as well. Brazil's lower, crude oil back to the downside. Bitcoin still holding on to a bit of a gain here, while Ethereum has gone negative on the session. We saw that yesterday as well. Late day sell-off for most of cryptocurrencies. There's a look at how the board is shaping up this afternoon. A bit of red creeping back in on us at this point. It is utility and consumer staple stocks that are leading. We saw specifically the food producers moving back to the downside this morning. There's TSN, SJM, KPM as well. CAG, 1.6% to the downside. But BKR, that was an earnings play today, 7% in the energy group to the downside. Communication services here having a nice day, though, helping to offset everything else and then some. Netflix up 5.8%. We will talk about Netflix coming up. MTCH, Disney, Dish, to name a few, all up more than 3.5% each. Biogen was another earnings play in the healthcare group, 6.3% in the pharmaceutical sector to the downside. ELV, another one, 9%. So healthcare stocks under pressure, also helping to limit everything else. Cruise lines on a big, what is this, day 3 now? 3-day run to the upside. RCL, 4.8%. CCL, 3.7%. All of the casinos here as well. We'll talk about that Chinese note from Macau. Coming up this Saturday, casinos back open in Macau. Nvidia, AMAT, AMD, there's all the chip makers. That's all you need to know this afternoon. They are leading the way once again, along with some of the software names. We were talking about the strength in CRM this morning. 5% for Salesforce right now. C-Day, 6% to the upside on a pretty good afternoon overall, as we saw there. The Dow back in the red, the S&P trying to hold on to positive territory. The NASDAQ, though, it's all about tech once again this afternoon. Hope your afternoon is going well. We'll jump into what we were discussing in the pre-market this morning. We talked a little bit about a number of names. Obviously, Netflix, one of those off of earnings. Tesla coming up after the close tonight. So we'll have a look at Tesla and talk a little bit about what to expect coming up, though. Sean's going to lead the way here and kick things off with a look at one of his trades from this morning.
Hey guys, yeah, it's your trade of the day one more time here today. And for me, easy one to pick, man. I mean, it's going to be Nvidia. We actually got this bottom tick there at 168 today on Nvidia. And I just wanted to show you here, we talked about it right here on the sticky note, right? Follow me at TraderTV, Sean, all of us at TraderTV.live on Twitter as well. The chips had a monster day yesterday. We knew that. I'm just reading what we wrote down here. We should continue again. Look to the 168 area for first entry, then watch for 166 for the ultimate long, if that came through. Well, where did we find that? This is just a 60-minute chart. I mean, honestly, if you go back, we had a top out the other day, 2 days ago at 168, which is right here. So we did top out there. Then yesterday took it out and didn't really look back. If you look back to yesterday, I sort of zoomed this back out. This is a 3-minute chart. There's that top yesterday of 169-ish, 168.80, something like that. That yesterday's top. As soon as that took, boom, back down to the downside. So when we came in today, we noticed the NASDAQ was about flat, right? So we knew there was going to be chip strength. Of course, there's the bill, a slimmed down one voted on. They're working on a bigger one. I just thought, hey, you know what? If this market wants to go, we know we want to be long chips. I mean, look at how well Nvidia's done off some of these bottoms. It's been a big move up, and we're starting to clear through what I call some of this garbage that's been happening the last couple of days in here in between 160 and 165. So there's that ultimate bottom of 166. And again, just kind of figured that in here. We had sort of danced around 166. Nothing really in this area, but if we were going to go, it was going to be a 166 long, giving it to about that 165 or so area. But there it is. It comes into play almost immediately, not almost immediately, immediately off the open. And again, if you don't have your bids out, that's why we put these prices on here. Sometimes we miss them. They never get to those levels, right? But today comes in for Nvidia. We take the long. Not only is that in there, but we also see yesterday into the close kind of defending this 168 area, right? So we close higher, come in lower and just say, you know what, if you're going to give us some longs, then give it to us. Give it to us at 168 and we'll work with it from there moving forward. But as soon as we get the trade, it just starts to blow up to the upside. So our first out is $1, I believe. It's maybe 80 to 90 cents in front of that 169. That boom goes the dynamite. We get it about 170.50, which is the pre-market high. And then it absolutely takes off to the upside. And even as it's going here, we debated getting out at 174. But then, you know, when you're kind of looking back here, this is 174, 175 right there. So we go back to the 23rd of June when we noticed that that was the top. So this got me a little nervous right there. Back and forth, we almost got out. What we should have done instead was punched a long through 175 back up to the upside. Eventually, this is, I trade off the 1 minute, this is a 3 minute. Eventually we broke the 50 period all the way up here. So you can see the 50 period on the 3 minute a little different. We would have got out much lower, but we get out there once it breaks back down below 177.50. I may be corrected on that. That's probably not the 50 period. It was just, we were waiting for a 180 top, right, to come through again, which is sort of where we dumped off there. That didn't happen, and as soon as that didn't happen, we played the retracement back in. That's what it was. So it wasn't the 50 period. It was a break back down below of 177.50. So it was dancing around 178.50. We said we'd put about $1 trail on it. That's exactly what we did. So we got out there for the dollar trail. So that's the key there. Now you're seeing it barcoding a little bit. I think it's probably worth a break if we take down that 177 level. But again, be prepared. That's the big thing, right? Here's Netflix 212. That goes all the way down to 200 before now it's what, 218, something like that, back up to the upside. So some of these levels remain key levels, and that one for Nvidia was very, very key at 168. Keep trading the chip names. I think they just, no matter what, if they're going to be long or short, there's a lot of volume, a lot of moves. They're perfect for day traders. Make sure you check out our sponsor, Day Trade the World, to get your trading career started.
Yeah, wild action once again today for chip stocks, for the NASDAQ in general, as we said. Leading the way here this afternoon, all of them on the watch list. Once again this morning, guys, make sure you grab that every single day. Have I mentioned it's free as well? Use the link, use the QR code, pick that up. We put all of the information you need to know in the pre-market in one nice package for you, so you have nowhere else to go. Here's the note that kicked off the selling this afternoon from the information. Yes, it's behind a paywall, but you get the point from the title. Google saying it will pause hiring. If you read into this article a little bit further, it says for 2 weeks only. So take from that what you will. We saw what happened the other day when Apple said the same thing. They were going to slow hiring and spending in certain areas of their business. Kicked off a bit of a sell-off here as well. But overall, guys, the market trying to hold up here decently anyways.
Yeah, look, the overall market's still looking pretty strong. All day long, the ES has been lagging a bit. So the fact that we're getting back to flat there, maybe not the end of the world. The chips have been stupid strong. That's why you've seen that with Sean over there in Nvidia. It's a trade we both had. I'm back short on Intel. It did resist a little bit, but Google's the big one. It's just a 2-week hiring pause, but ultimately, there were some signs that Google, or Alphabet I should say, was weaker relatively this morning, like playing the longs off the low. When the market was breaking out, this was resisting the top, and eventually it broke and I was out of it. But now you're going to have that push down at that key 115 price. So I think you've got two ceilings on this. One's the obvious 115, which if you were sitting in the news, I'm not going to lie, I wasn't even at my desk when this happened. So there's an opportunity cost of not being at your desk. You're going to miss good opportunities and good trades when news does drop. But then you also have to contend with this 114 quarter, I think, where we had trouble getting through in the morning. So this could weigh on Alphabet, and they could have some trouble getting back to green, even if the market is able to stay upside. So this morning, outside of a lot of the Chinese names, it was realistically the notion, I'm just going to go over Intel right now because to be sitting in the Intel short, it broke down. I missed that trade. I then took the consolidation off the pre-market low as my entry with my stop at the opening range high. And the market was screaming to the upside and I was just sitting in the short. It eventually stopped out. But you know what? It failed to break out of that high later and to get back to that level from where we flushed in the afternoon after the update on the chips bill. So I got into the short when it failed that top, and I'm sitting in this relative strength, relative weakness. I just want to explain that away because the chips have been booming all day long, and I'm second time short here Intel, which can seem a bit counterintuitive.
Yeah, we're long Meta, we're long Microsoft. Microsoft, look at this long that we just picked up there, 260.50. And like Neil said, we would have got out at 260.52, but we weren't here. So that's going to be a good little level there to look out for on a Microsoft long. We are also still long Meta, up 70 cents on this trade. We just took it right now. I actually punched into this right before I went to the trade of the day because I liked where Meta was against that 180. So now that's a nice little move back up to the upside on this name. And yeah, let's just keep on going, man. This is a fun day to trade today. I think there's no doubt about that. And we're just going to keep on pumping this trade through for you here today. But that's Meta, Microsoft. We still have our Neo short. I don't know if we're running through a board soon or not, so I don't want to go over everything. But yeah, I'm excited for today. I think you guys could tell that. It's been a big day for me. A couple nice wins. That Nvidia win was just cruising, man. I mean, this was such a fun trade to be in. And thank you guys for watching earlier when we had this on. You know, I was able to absolutely crush this one. It's going to be the #1 net name here for us today. Nvidia back up to the upside with a great move. But this market still up that 1%, man. Match that with yesterday's, and we got ourselves this pretty sweet market here, Brendo.
Yeah, absolutely. A couple things. Italy's PM Draghi has actually won this Senate confidence motion that was put into place. So no one was expecting that. So the euro making moves right now, guys, back to the upside. But they did say that the two main coalitions in Italy actually boycotted the vote entirely. So I'm not sure exactly how important that is. But yeah, Draghi winning this confidence motion. Also this, Lyft, guys, a big spike to the downside. Lyft, the latest to come out here announcing some layoffs. So joining the layoff parade. I mean, it's still up 3.5% on the day, though. So let's go to Netflix to kick things off, however. We were dealing with Netflix in the pre-market because of earnings and because of a better than expected subscriber growth forecast saying they're going to be back to positive 1 million by Q3.
Look, I'm not going to lie. Netflix didn't play out the way I thought it was going to play out. I think that goes without saying. So, you know, my first thought was what we talked about in the afternoon show yesterday was that 207 level on the daily chart, you know, which had been the top end of that channel. You get the nice beat of expectations. Let's get that out there. It was a beat of expectations when it comes to the sub number, and that was what was big. So, you know, we actually got to that 207 in the aftermarket on the initial top line beat and then pulled back down. And then when the sub numbers came out, you got the bigger spike up. So I was looking for that level as a dip buy. You know, we got it, and the way you get into a trade sometimes matters. And by say sometimes matters, it was just an absolute like tank from about 15 in the pre-market to flushing 210 into that 207 at the open. It did bounce very, very briefly for me to be able to take $1 out, and then was just instantly stopping out after that. It then bounced off 200. I wasn't even looking at the stock. I said I'm away from this. It was just selling off way too hard. We liked a lot of other longs which were working out, so I stuck to what was working until we were back in the price area that made sense. Because what ended up happening was, at about just after 10 o'clock, it started holding this 207 again. And while I didn't get the 207 trade, when it broke out that same opening range after holding 7-hour support, I then just grabbed a long that I did not believe was getting to the high of the day to be able to make something back. That is not the route that I anticipated Netflix to take. It just felt like you had a lot of profit taking, and then you're just running stops at the open to ultimately find the strength in buying that I think a lot of people were anticipating. And as a bit of a hint that was going to be strong, well, some of the other sympathy names held up well while Netflix was tanking in the open. So you almost had to sit that one, not sit it out, but wait it out until that opening rush was done. Because if I just look at this chart after 10 o'clock, pretty much exactly what we were expecting. But look, you can't ignore the fact that the first 30 to 35 minutes happened. So I took the hit there. I think a lot of people, if you like the bullish case for the stock today, you just simply had to reinvest in that idea at about 10 o'clock, which is the way things have been going lately. So, you know, I can't sit here and say that Netflix was great, but there were plenty of trading opportunities to be had. And I don't regret missing out on 200. And I don't mind that I took a breakout trade, but there was what I prefer, which is a consolidation dip buy, you know, right around like 208 here with $1 stop instead of taking the breakout trade. I would always much rather, if I find a good level, I'd rather be long here when you know this is a level you like, and I like that level if we're taking it into our face at 930, I'd rather have that trade instead of this one. Because instead of taking like a couple of dollars to target, here you're getting $3 to $5 as opposed to getting, you know, 1 and then 1.5. on the trade. That's the difference between a breakout and then buying at a really good price there. So it is what it is with Netflix. That saying is probably the first and last time I'll say it today, but it's definitely true. That was a tough one at 9:30.
Yeah, very tough. I mean, we shit the bed on this one pretty early on Netflix, but was able to capture that bottom there at 200 and really make back a third of what we had lost in this disgraceful trade to start the day. I mean, I thought Netflix was going to be up today, right to sort of where we did go up to this 215, 216 area into some of these pre-market highs. I actually thought we had a chance to get to 220, which we almost did. I mean, we got to 217 right there, but as per Neil and as what he just mentioned there, you had to be patient on this one, man. I mean, there was really no winning on Netflix today unless you were very, very patient into these levels. And that's going to be back-to-back days now where, first of all, like Meta, Microsoft, Google, like right now I'm in 4 positions. They're all more than $1 roughly. The only one that's not $1 in the money is NEO, and that's 80 cents. But Netflix, just be patient. Wait for your levels, man, on earnings. And I think that 200 came here yesterday. It was where we closed. So basically gave everything back early and then started to pump on what I thought was a pretty decent quarter for Netflix, hence why I wanted to go long. I feel like this stock does belong back in the 230s or 240s. We probably, honestly, I think we can get there next week with a couple good reports coming, hopefully later this week and then early next week. So let's just wait to see. I mean, this is not like pumping up Netflix or anything. I can't move the stock. It's 45 million shares here. I like it. I like what they're doing with the subs. But again, to learn something, like I said, and someone said, oh, every day, Sean keeps saying he learns something every day. It's because I do, right? And it's like, what I'm learning is that you got to wait when it's earnings. And this is my 21st year, man. And we had a monster year last year. We've talked about that. It's like, you got to be patient. You got to wait for things to strike. And when they do, be there and take the winning trade. And so that's sort of like what I'm learning to do better is wait for very, very specific prices. And we should have done a little bit of a better job here today with Netflix. That's for sure, Brendan.
That's a note to kick things off on Google, guys. But it was actually Google that gave you the best trade on that news this afternoon. They came out and said they were going to slow hiring for a couple of weeks, along with Apple, along with Lyft. Now, I was just actually watching Lyft here. Not much of follow-through to the downside. We're trying to hold 14 here. It was 60 people, apparently, that Lyft has laid off. But Google kicked off the layoff party this afternoon.
We were 60. I was on the show, but the funny thing is, it doesn't even really matter. Yeah, the 60 seems, I can go outside and find 60 Lyft drivers right now, probably, to be honest with you. And I don't mean that as a joke. I mean, they're pretty popular here. Oh, yeah. You either drive for Lyft or you drive for Uber, it seems like, around here. And that's fine, man. I mean, I think it's a very, very respectable job, especially in today's market. I mean, there's a lot of people taking a lot of cabs and stuff around here. I like Lyft, but let's just move on from that. I have both apps on my phone. I'm just really using Uber, so I shouldn't. I don't really know why. I used to double check the prices back and forth, but they always seem to match, so I just use Uber. But okay, right here, I just want to talk about that Google layoff. So, we were short early until it broke that 114.50. We talked about that. This was actually about flat for us. Then we reversed into the long, made some money there at 115 off of this 114.50 break. So short here off of that high yesterday. Remember, the reason why we wanted to get short, or why we are short on Google, and to begin with, was the fact that it's a lot weaker than the market. So again, if I'm going to stay true to who I am, I have to continue to trade relative strength and weakness and try to find some levels. So we thought we found one there. We shorted it a couple times and made some money. The last short didn't work. We got out there, so we lost about, that short is 114.35. That out is 114.70 with a punch long, and then we got out around 115. So net, we were about flat on Google. Then we went short again. This is actually, what time was the news? Because I'm thinking that I reloaded it twice. So I'm going to say it was right here when the volume started to pick up again. That's that initial break. I heard the news. Not only that, we were breaking this level of 115 again. So I was already looking short. So we, when that news came, we're like, okay, we got it. So then we hit the short, bang that all the way. Like, we had a lot of shares, hit that all the way back down in here to 114. So that's about 60 or 70 cents. Took some out on the way as we were running into some problems. Took some out, came back up, took our last out for flat. okay? Then, as per typical how I normally trade, it wicks all the way to the top there. We're already out. Then it starts to fade back in again. So there was multiple chances to get into this trade. We got it again right there on a reload there, and now it's come back into the downside. So hey, I like the stock, I like the name here, but for today, Google's weaker, so we're still holding on to a short right now in Google as we get ready to rock and roll here on that name. So Google, we still are short. We're short in the money about $1 right now. As this market can fade out further, then we have that Google short. But as you know, we also have Meta long $1.50 in the money, and we have Microsoft long $1.80 in the money. And the Neo short. So we're kind of coinciding here, but hey, look, they're not the first company to come out and announce layoffs or job freezing as well, or hiring freezes. We saw Apple do that, and guess what? Apple's higher now than it was when it made that announcement, yesterday or 2 days ago, whatever, I think it was Monday. So take that for what it's worth. I believe this is a temporary bump down for Google. Sharif was asking me here before, does this mean that they're sort of foreshadowing possible earnings issues? And I said, not really. I don't think that Google's going to make that kind of a call by simply putting a 2 or 3 week hiring freeze because there's an issue with earnings. But, if they were freezes in their sales department or something to do with advertising, then I would be more worried about Google. But you know what? They could have I have the Google Pixel Buds here. I have the Pixel phone. I don't know what department they froze hiring on.
Well, that's the thing.
And I think that's just so important. There's such a major, was it in their cloud? Because then maybe Amazon and Microsoft might get some pull away from that, right? But I would just say let's just hold tight on trying to extrapolate what exactly this means.
Let's not overreact. You have CEOs and C-suites that are reacting to what they expect to be a possible downturn in the economy. So they're getting out in front of it and being proactive. I think that's conservative and probably a smart thing. But kind of, I kind of knew we'd talk about Google, but I opened off by giving my 2 cents on it, so I don't want to double down on it. But I did want to mention this SDIG was on our watch list. This is a small cap blockchain company that's just now made a bit of a move. We had this. I'm going to show you my 15-minute chart because it'll prove an example or go over an example, which I think makes some sense here. I like the breakout at $2.90, and then I also liked the break at $3. But I want to show you the difference between having patience and not having patience. Not having patience is on my 15-minute chart, getting all of my outs on this stock essentially in the first candle and then just stopping it out in the money above the breakout price in the second 15-minute candle that's red. And then watching it go to another high and going 10% to the upside. And juxtapose that with sometimes when you get this, and this is it's a reactionary thing because it's the difference between I was talking about a breakout trade and a consolidation trade. I wish I had the consolidation on Netflix as opposed to the breakout. With breakouts, I can get impatient. With the consolidation, it comes back down, rejects, and then holds that low at 3, shows you support at the price you liked before, and then just taking longs in front of it, and then you're working it, and then still holding on for a little bit more, not getting too panicked about it, and not getting it all out in the first big push up, letting this sort of come to you. Will I get out at the high of the day? Yeah, sure, I'll take it out at the high of the day at this point, because I think it's had some trouble at that price, and on the daily, you run into some resistance when you start getting into this 350 chop zone here, going back into May. But it's easy, and sometimes this will happen to you executing off of these lower time frame charts, right? When you have a 1 minute or 3 minutes or a 5 minute sometimes, it's easy to get caught up in all of these moves, especially at the open. And sometimes you just need to slow things down a little bit. I didn't really do that with SDIG. And it's not as obvious when I pull up the 3 minute chart, but yeah, I don't like it anymore when I look at the way that I traded that in the morning, but it makes a heck of a lot more sense here now, showing some patience. Let it work for you. When it's working in the money, don't be in too much of a rush to get out. So this one is, of course, benefiting from the fact that Bitcoin's on the rise once again. So it's a good chance to get to those highs as long as we keep climbing there. Great day for crypto.
Yeah, big day once again for crypto. I was just double checking, actually. We'll get into more chip-related earnings the first week of August, second week of August, and then later again in the month of August. So a little bit to go. But this was the one that was overnight. ASML reported it was a guidance that was a problem, despite beating expectations for their Q2. But these chip stocks have been, as we said, or kicked things off here this afternoon at 2 o'clock with just monsters over the past couple of days.
Yeah, they absolutely are. I don't really have anything chip space to go over that's not going to be Nvidia and Intel, so I'll quickly just go over the same thing. We had probably the same levels. I had a different approach to trading it. I tend to have targets when going to the upside and take things off too early. But the 168, we did love the 168 level. Just coming back to what was support in the afternoon. Like the key prices, what I love about liquidity vacuums and flash news trades is basically that the market is telling you where buyers and sellers are. Because when you had that news about the chip bill being delayed, you found bottoms in some of these stocks. So that's where 168 essentially comes from, because in that vacuum, buyers came back into Nvidia at that price. So going long off there made a ton of sense to me. And then once you were rejecting that 162 top and I got out of the trade altogether, I was flat here and looking to buy the dip, ideally I wanted it to be off of that close. Like this area here where we closed at 170, and that's what we went with for the long. It still had a little consolidation off the high, first resistance, it gets through, we take some out to pay ourselves, and then I had a 175 target. And then the mistake, of course, was not getting back in. This is a 175 target on the daily chart. When 175 broke, you're into the air. So the only thing I did wrong was not getting back in off 165. And truth be told, Nvidia now has lots of room to the upside. If we are to continue this move into an upward trend, closing for the second day above the 50 on the daily chart, yeah, you still have upside room. I'm still going to be shorting something like Intel because as far as I'm concerned, it's flat on the day right now. It's barely breaking its 50 period. If the chip bill doesn't go through, they stand to be worse by it, and we never got through yesterday's high. So where we were when that news dropped, we haven't cleared through. I mean, everything else is breaking out above. Now, I missed a chance to get some shares out in front of 40 there by holding on to it too long. It looked like it was going to capitulate with the markets, and I will have to get out if we take out these highs. But just playing some relative strength and weakness in the chips for me. If Intel gets to the top, I'll have to give it up, obviously. And I did lose on the initial short, so I doubt I get it all back on Intel. But I'm always willing to play that. Like there's almost always something I like to the short side, even in a strong space. You're usually able to find some relative strength or weakness. While relatively weak, it's not as if Intel's down on the session, let's be honest.
No, Intel, a good call there. But right now, guys, look what we're doing. I mean,
oh my God.
This is what I mean about taking dollars in this kind of a market. Like Neil said, you could scalp, stay true to yourself, and I do that. I mean, we do take, this is 50 cents, that's 70 cents, this is $1 right there on Microsoft. But look where we are now as we hold 25% for $250 now in the money on this name as that continues to go, man. Meta as well, boom, boom, back up to the day high right now, 182.50. So if you're looking for the bangers, I mean, we got a couple on board. We've already talked about Nvidia today. This is straight fire from 116.8 up to 177.50 where we got out there. We talked about that on our trade of the day. So thanks for coming early and watching out for that. You can see that at the end. All right, so just an update on some of my positions there. We've already talked about Google, but I'm just going to go back into it. I went long now on Google. Let's just see if it can hold this 50 period down here, 113.77. Might not. I don't know. It's not great news for Google, obviously, today. We talked about that as well. So I don't really have faith that this name could necessarily go back up here. But after that was announced, it did come back up again before dumping back down. So let's see if it can play the relative strength game and get caught up here today. I am not holding, like I said, you got to have your outs, right? And that's it. This is how I've been really so successful the last, for a long time, is because we have outs that are scheduled and we have ins scalped in and scalped out as well, right? So there is opportunity here today to trade Google to the long side. I think we might find one right now bouncing off this 113.80. So let's see if it can hold this bottom. I'm going to get out if it doesn't because, again, it is weak and we have size right now. It's not huge. We can definitely afford a 40-cent hit here. So that's what we'll do. If we break back down below this 113.70, then we are going to get out of this name. So that's going to be Google. I just wanted to give everybody a quick little update there on what I was thinking and what I was looking at. So I am long. If you see like, oh my God, he's long. He went from long to short. I did get out of my short on VWAP break and then went long here at 114. So if this continues to make a move down, which the futures look like they want to do, then yeah, we have to get out of this name. And yeah, could hurt a little bit if the market does come back down. I wish, I don't know, maybe I don't have to wish. I can just do this. I can just get out of Microsoft. But let's just see if it can continue to make moves higher. If this market runs, I think Microsoft also here, unless they come out and say they're freezing hiring. Oh, another thing about the hiring freeze is it's summertime right now. I mean, that kind of makes sense to maybe higher. It frees a little bit now as well. So again, not really talking up the position, more just, you know where I went long off of this technical break. So let's see if it can hold it. We're going to be out if it takes too much lower than this, about 20 more cents, and we're out of Google. But I think this story is a little, I think there's more about this. And I feel like tomorrow Google will be higher as long as the market's higher, not like today. Again, they're not following the market. They're well underneath the market today. So let's just see. I feel like Google has some catch up here.
We were speaking this morning a little bit about Amazon in the sense that maybe this could be another company that will feel the pressure from a strong US dollar. At least that's what Bank of America was thinking, and cut their price target today. I mean, it was $20, so let's not overreact. 168 from 188 for B of A. Here's Amazon up 3.5%, holding up much better than the overall market today.
Look, it really is, and I had a long case for Amazon that just, it never hit. So, you know, you can lament about liking a direction in trade. You got to find an execution to it. I didn't like the break. I wanted it at 10 o'clock or holding that 118 level. And I just sort of looked at this saying, hey, it felt like we're going to get some dip buys in the morning. That ended up being true. Amazon just never came into play. And you had this 118 where we had closed the day before, and that's what I wanted to be working off of. At the open, what ends up happening is it just only goes straight to the upside. You had to be sitting in a long style trade, and then come 10 o'clock when I wanted to revisit it, you were above the range. So it never hit, it never was on my indicators, and that's going to be a bit of a swing and a miss. I did like it to the long side from a technical base, just looking at how strong the chart was. This afternoon, I mean, I was kind of thinking we'd have a 125 in the strong market as resistance. I mean, I would go off, like this double top looks pretty juicy to me. I mean, after what we saw with Google and the trouble that we've generally had getting through highs at the end of the day, and the fact that the NASDAQ has rejected 12.5, which is a pretty round number, it does lead to the high right here of just 123.5 being a bit of something for Amazon. I think that's a shortable level. 125 would be a little bit more enticing to me, but we're not there yet. So I don't want to get into that one. It wouldn't be the first thing I rush into. Like, I'm in Li Auto, which I should have gone over. This morning, I got stopped out on Li Auto off the open, and then it came back below that 36.4 area, and then once it consolidated lower, I just re-entered the trade at 36.25, and since it's been trending down, I've been shorting some of the pops in here. It has yet to really, truly break the floor. It's got a 35.50 low on this thing, which is barely below this floor here, 35.6. I think I said this morning, like I will probably take a few swings at this, trying to be in this short position as you get through this floor on Li Auto for the day that it flushes. Into a strong market, let's be honest, like this is a pretty strong market today. Are you likely to get the flush? I know the Chinese names are weak, but we're not really seeing it to the downside. We get a down day or we get some downward movement. That's the kind of trade that I'm always going to want to be in when you're breaking key levels. Like Nvidia was breaking key levels to the upside, even though it's a strong day. Li Auto's down 4%, breaking key levels to the downside. So I've been trying to take advantage of the short. Look, I'll stop out when it hits my stop, and that's fair. But you got to be willing to be in what I think is the right side of the direction with the bigger upside, which in this case would be downside for Li Auto.
So I'm short NIO. I mean, that was a good trade here today, since we're going to talk about Li Auto there. Good one for me here today on NIO. We're still short. I'm going to get out if we take VWAP, so 40s or 50s, something like that. It's not very small position, or else I would talk more about it. It's just, it's not super important to me right now. What is important right now is that I'm second guessing, and that's fine. I mean, this is part of the game, man. Like, I have literally today 42 fills on Google, and this is what keeps me sane a little bit here is to look at some of these names and make sure I'm making the right calls. I did take out 20% for flat here, literally for flat, because, like, okay, here we go. See? It's like, look at the market. The market right now is taking out some of these levels. We're well above the 50 period. We're trying to get going right now, trying to pass through this. I thought on this move up that we would, I mean, we've been in Google now for a couple minutes. I thought on this move up that we might be able to get something there. It doesn't look like that's what's happening. That's what's happening at all. It doesn't look like we're getting anything right now on Google. So let's wait to see if that bump does wind up happening right now. 114.20 or so might be the high. So I'm hoping that this market can go and we can have like a little bit of a mind changer there. But Google right now, trying to go. We're going to get a piece out here at 25 if it goes. Now it's starting to go, which is fine. I just like it's honestly, for a $115 name, like look what Microsoft is doing on this, right? Well, actually, I guess not. I guess they're all kind of struggling right now. I thought Microsoft might be going now. Meta, yeah, they're all hovering around. So this move down, yeah, this is not. Maybe the longs have spoken here today already. So let's just wait to see on Google. That just went to 20 there. Like, I'd hate this to take 10 cents. Like, my first target wasn't that much higher, it was 25. Let's still see if we get it. I just trying to sniff out here that Google might not want to run here. We might be near the top, as a lot of these names are starting to struggle a little bit here.
Something's up with Boeing here. Just big volume spike. Thank you in the chat. I saw a few people mentioning here, big spike in Boeing. But I went right to the daily chart because I felt this was going to be true. Yeah, Boeing is breaking out on this daily. This 158, which had been trouble for quite some time, just broke out there. Breno, what do we got?
So they're saying they're going to increase production on their 787 Dreamliner once deliveries resume. So positive, obviously, for the once grounded plane. So increasing production once deliveries resume.
So one of the things I like about that news is that was a stop. Like, you could have had a stop at that level just in general. 158 was above the high of the day, a bit of a double top. On the daily chart, it was resistance. You're talking about a pretty significant level in either way. So any kind of a dip down, I'm going to try and play off that 158 here. But we have missed. I mean, the flash news came here and broke about $1 higher from here. So got to be careful how aggressively I want to chase this. So I'll enter like half up here at 158.76. That's just where it happens to be consolidating for now. But the real play would be back and see if you can hold this 158 level. I think, look, it's good news for Boeing. But the first thing I notice is always when in doubt, zoom out before I do anything. Like, where are we? And we're here breaking out significant resistance. Like, the last gap fill down was essentially this top here at 158. That's what just got broken out there. So thank you guys for pointing that one out, the volume spike there on Boeing. And then, of course, Brennan getting us the news pretty quickly. I did get a reload into Li Auto, which is coming up there against me. And maybe I take another hit on Li Auto like we did this morning. I was able to get some of it back with these shorts, but I'm going to keep going at it as long as we're holding now below this 36.05. Previously, I liked this 36.50, but for now, we have a bit of a tighter stop on these shorts. The market is trying to climb back to the high of the day, which has me at least a little bit cautious with the shorts. That's why I'm not going to give this one to VWAP. That's why I actually just took some shares out on Intel in front of VWAP because it's showing some strength with the rest of the chips. And if it takes out the high, you only fight the trend for so long, man. And I should have taken almost all of this out at 40 because you essentially had a wick off bottom through 40 even. And when that happens, you want to be covering at that 40 level. I was away from my desk. That one's on me. A meeting ran long that I didn't have to have run so long there. But Boeing, we're in. I like where this is at on the daily. It feels like this should extend to 160 in this strong market after that 158 break.
All right. Just looking back here at a couple levels. We're still in all the same trades, man. I mean, this NEO, if it does take out, we already talked about where that one's going to go. And then Meta and Google. I'm still holding out for Google, man. I still think that can go for sure. I like Roblox above 40. That's another name there that I trade quite often, but haven't been in it today. Roblox, another name here above that $40 level. We've bounced around it right there. There's the great break of 40 earlier today. It wasn't even the break. It was just a stop and go up to 42.50. And then all the way back down before stopping again here at 40. Like, if this is not a long, if the market cracks lower here, then, I mean, we've held that $40 a couple of times. Let's see what it looks like back into yesterday. Yeah, I mean, this is a Sean 2.0 trade right here, 1.0, 1.15. This is a nice move back into yesterday's level high. I mean, it's almost the exact same trade as Nvidia. We could have had this one on the board today as well. We probably should have with a nice move to the upside there off that. So look at Roblox next time it comes into $40. I really think that there is some support there. I mean, the market's going to have to come down for that to happen. Roblox has been pretty strong off some of the bottom, so that's a trade idea right there for you as well. If you were looking into one. Microsoft's up. I mean, I'm glad we didn't get out of Microsoft, man. Look where we're pushing now, back to 283. That'll be soon. 263 here on Microsoft off this long. Like, this is what we're talking about when we're trading. Like, you know, there's scalping, and then there's this, right? And I mean, this is like intraday swing trading right here, taking 250 on this name right back into this level one more time, just thinking that this is probably a decent out into the close. But look at the market, man. We're marching higher. That's why I'm trying to hold on to these longs. This is why, for me, Google's so frustrating, because I could go out and go short on weakness for Google because it's not moving upside. But look at Microsoft, right back into some highs. Look at Google. I mean, they're not even close. Google should be up here right now, 114.80. It's not. It should be. So yeah, this stock's getting weaker for me, man. So I don't know. I'm holding out hope that this eventually goes up, but I am close to trimming even more right now, and I think that this is a good level. I just keep looking back at Microsoft and thinking this 263 is pretty cash, man. We're long at 260. So, you know, to take, we have two $2 winners on right now, Microsoft and Meta. So yeah, probably worth taking one of them. And I think I'd rather take Microsoft than Meta. Meta could still break that high of 183, and then we're really gone on this name. And again, Meta 3.7%. What's Microsoft, two and a bit? Only one. So yeah, let's take out the Microsoft and let the Meta roll. So right now, your boy did it again, and hopefully you guys did as well. We'll drop the bangs down here for Microsoft. We're gonna get out of this if it breaks this level right here. 260, 250 to the downside. We could just respect the 50 period. Maybe we'll do that. 260, 235, we'll get out of Microsoft for what is, again, a $2 winner. So yeah, if you're looking for those, you're looking at the right place. We'll go, yeah, for $2. Hopefully it can go a little more.
Yeah, I love that level on Microsoft. Like I said, opportunity cost of not sitting at your desk, because that was the entry that we had this morning, and essentially playing to this level too. Like this, it peeled back at 260, 250 before breaking the high, but it did look like it was going to roll over at that price, and I'm kind of feeling the same thing could happen here. We just tested that 158 on Boeing, so I was able to just quickly add there, and I see you guys talking in the chat about Lucid. We saw a few people talking about Lucid in the chat. And it's interesting because I look at Li Auto, which is weak. I mean, you were talking about NEO there. The difference between, well, this is obvious. The difference between Lucid and those, Chinese name versus US ones. And look, the divergence has been there for the last week. So you cannot look at these as a space. The weakness in the Chinese names has been pretty apparent for the last couple of days now, but the strength in Lucid I actually had not seen until right now. And this is a gorgeous looking chart. There's so many things which are breaking out on the daily chart. Forget about the fact that you have a 21 break for the last couple of days. Like, you're actually finally getting above the 50 period and then breaking the next resistance on that daily, which is happening right here, right now. And the 21, this is what the 21 break is doing. So, I mean, in a bullish afternoon potentially here that we're seeing, I'd like us to break the highs before we get too excited about things. This is the kind of one that you want to maybe dig into. So it's early for me. Like sometimes we'll be seeing this and there's no chance to maybe even get a peel back to that 21 breakout price. But I think it's a pretty key price here on Lucid. I haven't checked Rivian in forever to be able to see what it's doing. I'm going to make the assumption that it's looking relatively strong because they tend to follow. Rivian actually up even more. I don't know if it's as significant a price break, on the higher time frame. You're not really through these highs on Rivian. It is up more, but the U.S. EV name showing some strength. Just keep in mind, certain somebody's reporting tonight, and they can change everything for both of those names for tomorrow. So taking some profit makes some sense if you're even a little bit concerned about Tesla. Brennan?
Another area of the market, guys, having quite the day. I saw this headline during lunch and kind of laughed because, yeah, Netflix was a stay-at-home stock during COVID, but Peloton, 16% today for Peloton, right at these last highs on the daily chart for PTON.
Kind of feels just like some of these beat down names just, still have lots of room to go up to the upside just because of how beat down they are. I mean, Peloton's down to $11. Like what was the bottom, 7 or something on Peloton, I think? Or was it 8? There's 8 right there. I don't know. My 20-minute chart has to load up, so maybe it was that 820 there, the bottom on the 15th. That would make sense. So yeah, it looks like that was going to be the bottom. So a nice little move back up. I mean, this is from 8 to 11. 35% upside there in just a couple couple weeks, if not more than that, or if not less than that, sorry, right back to this level. It looks like we're trying to take out 11 one more time here for Peloton. So the news was just what? That like maybe stay-at-home stocks are back? Like I mean, let's wait to see what happens. Remember the news there for Peloton though was the fact that they were dumping the production and giving that, I think, to some either Taiwanese company or somewhere like that anyways, to produce their bikes instead of keeping it in-house. I feel like you're going to lose quality possible control on that, but you know, hopefully that does help them with some of the pricing. And I don't know if it was made in the USA, which would be probably the most expensive, or if they were initially made somewhere else anyways. So I don't know about that story, but it's a nice move upside for Peloton. I still feel like I don't want to buy this name. If anything, it would be a short off that 11. So let's see if it could get going here today as the market trying to get back up to the upside one more time here on this move. And what I mean by that is, you know, we're dancing again. We're trying to go, man. And on that note, I did take out another 20% on, oh, that's the wrong stock, on Google here. As you can see, breaking back down below 114. I'm taking one more out there as we broke below 114. So we're still holding for, again, it's going to be in here 70s, but you could see Google relatively weak into this market strength. So we are taking pieces out here on this name as it continues to go to the downside. And we already know where our Microsoft out is. So yeah, let's just watch Google. Hey, look, if it takes this 20, then I don't even have any offers again until like up here, because I feel like we just got to snap this and like sort of wake up Google. And if it can do that, then I think we can get back up to 114, 180, and then we'll really be doing some backflips and cheering on the apes. So let's go to the upside here for Google.
Yeah, and it might just be some of those pandemic names that are going to the upside, because Shopify is up 12% right now. And there was a piece of news for them as well, but another ridiculously strong chart. There's a few of these today, let's be honest. It's like a very strong day today, and a lot of these beaten up names have been finding outsized bids. But you got to think about where they've come from as well. So, I mean, I would hesitate to buy tops, especially when you start to overextend like this. I just go back over to the crypto names, because there's a bit of a pullback off of 24,000 that just happened. And then at the same time, if that's going to happen, that SDIG, which is a blockchain stock, so it's going to pull back off that high. Looked like we were cruising toward the high of the day. I'll come back to the 3-minute chart here. Looked like we were cruising to the high of the day. I threw my offer out to hopefully get picked up there. And now with that little bit of a pullback that we just saw below 24,000, some of the momentum comes in. What I want to see happen is, do we holding VWAP re-breaking back lower? I don't want a miracle fill in front of 3. I'd rather see this start to hold above VWAP. I want to see consistently higher lows if I want to continue this trade going into the upside on SDIG, especially if we're starting to run out of steam late in the day on Bitcoin, which this has been following pretty decently, and I don't want to, that's not something I want to ignore. Netflix in particular, yeah, I still think there's a bit of a trade here. I kept thinking 220. I heard Lucas say in the midday show 220. I liked 220 this morning as well for a short. We ain't getting to 220 at this rate. But what you have been able to do is hold. If you look at the top end of the range here in the aftermarket, it was about 217 before things fell apart for good. And that 217 has been a pretty decent hold on any kind of a pop where the market's not getting through the high. That's where I'm going to like the short on Netflix. For now, I'd rather be at least a little bit conservative with like how quickly I would get into that. I'm not going to rush into any short, like working it off of 215 or anything. Like, no, it needs to be above 216 for me to get into that trade. Like, I'm not going to jump into it too early. I said I got back into some Boeing shares. I'll quickly go over this one. It did end up holding that 58. So I was able to get some shares when it reclaimed, and then we're going to get some out in front of the high of the day here. I think 160 is going to be a bit of resistance on Boeing, so I want to make sure I'm taking some profit into it. I think there's room to run if the market can get going and continue that move to the upside. And I can't tell you Tesla is reporting tonight and not at least look at it. Not that I think right now.
You can.
Well, okay, so yesterday, going into earnings on Netflix, right? Was Netflix not like the stock that was moving the most yesterday going into those earnings? Well, Tesla. Okay, well, one of the.
It was moving. I know what you're getting at.
It was one of the biggest movers going into its earnings. Today is a little bit different because Tesla. You look at the chart. I don't see a trade. I don't see a trade in Tesla today outside of the $750 level. 750 is giving you resistance over and over again. Maybe there's a breakout above that price late, but it's been a short all day, and I've been calling out that level all morning, and I've been unwilling to short Tesla, probably because of how strong Netflix was, and I kept thinking we might see the same thing out of Tesla. But that was free money on the short at 750, and I didn't take it once. Like Trader Prab was like, yeah, the short that Neil was calling out has been printing. I'm like, no, it's not. Because I can tell you it's resistance all I want, but I didn't take the trade at any point when I kept saying 750 was resistance. I wouldn't take the trade, and you can look at how good it's been. So that's just the bias getting the best of me, and I was biased to the long side this morning, with the exceptions of Intel and Li Auto and Alibaba. Sometimes your bias isn't going to help you.
Yeah, and I think in trading, having a bias is important for the direction, but definitely be able to be flexible with it and be able to get away from that bias, I think is a valuable point there too, Neil. So that's a good one about that talk. And I just talked to Sharif when you were talking there, because remember yesterday, he said the implied move for Netflix was 15%. He pretty much, it's not him, this is the option market, but that is pretty much what happened with Netflix yesterday. I mean, it went from $200 up to $226. That's like 230 is 15%. So almost dead on that implied move there for Netflix. And then of course back in, I mean, it's traveled a lot. So that was 15%. But he just told me it's just a little shy of 7% for Tesla. So if the option market's going to be correct, and it's not predicting one way or the other, it's just simply telling you that it should move. It's implied a 7% move, which isn't that much for Tesla. We've seen Tesla move 7% intraday like it was nothing. So if you go 10% on 750, that's a $75 move. Take a little bit off of that. So you're about $60 or so move implied here on Tesla, which would mean that we either see 800, and this is at the close, so who knows what's going to happen until then. But the options market thinks 800 and or 680, something like that on the downside is where we could go to. So watch out here. That, of course, would show you that we are diddling in the middle of those ranges right now. So let's just pay attention to that. Tesla, and thanks to Sharif for this one, implied move of around 7% if you're going to look at the option. So thank you for that one. And yesterday it was cash money.
It was cash money
for that. So that was almost. So that's why I just turned around when you were speaking. So I was like, yeah. Tesla's maybe not moving, but maybe that's why they are expecting. Or it could just be the fact that, hey, nobody knows what's going to expect. Because the thing about Elon is the guy, I don't need to tell you this, you're watching the show, tricky guy, right? I mean, this guy doesn't necessarily shoot from the hip, if you know what I'm saying there. Tried to be funny guy on Twitter. Now he's going to be funny guy paying probably, I think he'll wind up paying $5 billion, will be what they settle on, but let's wait to see where that goes. But he did say that those gigafactories are like furnaces burning money every single day. We do recall that, so I'm going to hold him to that, see what happens tomorrow. And I honestly think that if Tesla, and I just looked at my account, and believe it or not, I am like 2% up on the position that I recently bought Tesla on. So I think I'm long like at 730 something or 710. I actually bought the CDR, shout out to Neo. So the price isn't as equatable as to what it might be right now for this, but it's like around 720, let's just call it. So I'm about flat on it, and I just decided, I'll let it roll right now. We got lucky with Netflix. Let's see if we can get lucky again here with TSL to the A. Just a quick little update. We'll end the trade off there. And we'll call it pretty awesome. I'm pretty happy with it. We didn't get out at the very top, but there goes Microsoft out there for $2. Well, missed it. 190 of a victory there. We were 220 in the money at the top. We'll take 190 on that now for Microsoft. As this market, I don't think we're failing here. It's really just barcoding. This is about profit taking and honestly just stacking up, as I find the button here, stacking up that cash today. Whenever it's a big earnings announcement coming through, it's 2:53 right now. We still have an hour to go here into power hour. So I do think Microsoft could get ramped up again to the north side, but let's just try to play key levels, man. We don't need to sit here and hope that something's going to happen. That's why, and I just talked about this, Google, we're about to get out of it, but look what happened. It went to that 20 level and we got out. So we only have half of our position on for Google right now. So let's see where this one goes, but I like the name here, Google. It's just today it is relatively weak, and if this market is going to crack lower, which it's trying to do, I think that this could turn into a nice little short. So we're not in it. We're out of it now. We're still in it. 1/3, almost out, man, right now off this 70 level. We don't want to see it get back into this range, and I just don't want to barcode with it. So we'll get out in a few more pennies down. I thought I got out there, but I didn't. We're going to get out down here in the 60s. Normally it would be that 50 period, so I'm a little disappointed we didn't do that, but we're going to give it down here to just a break of 70, and we'll get out on Google, but should have got out a little earlier.
Two things. One, I'll ring the register a little bit here, and it's getting difficult to figure out what my keys are on my stream deck, Lucas, because they're all messing up. So I'm making a guess of which one, sometimes which one I'm hitting. Hopefully I got the right one. I know I did there. But Li Auto going to take some more profit out. I've been taking some out in the 75 to 80 range and then back in these 60s. I'm going to go back to that well in front of that low of the day. That's the first thing. Second thing, Boeing made that press toward the high of the day, then rejected the high of the day. I'm now back in off of that 158 area. My stop is a quarter below that, so if it breaks that, we're just going to get out. I still believe we should be heading to 160. However, there's one thing we talked about. We can't hold trades overnight. We're day trading. It's Day Trade the World.
Wait, what?
The show. So yeah, we're not allowed to hold overnight. You didn't know that,
I got to
Sean?
get out then. I got to get out.
But this is a breakout on the daily. So if we're still above 158, I come in tomorrow and the market looks pretty solid and nothing crazy's happened with Boeing, obviously overnight, and we're still in this 158 to 159 channel maybe. Maybe we actually gap higher. I don't know. But if we're still in the same pocket, then I would want that same long opportunity. But I will have to stop it out today, even if I like where we're headed. On Boeing here, and I like the little bit of momentum we're getting in the market. And plus, too, we've seen these sell-offs at the end of the day, sometimes refusing to get through highs even on a strong day. That's just been par for the course. And I want to make one little defense of Elon in his Twitter ranting and sort of maybe saying things that are a little bit extreme, like you said about lighting things on fire with the furnace, the Gigafactory. Because I remember one time we were live on the show, and I happened to have the Tesla level 2 up. Remember when he dropped the tweet? And he said that Tesla was overvalued. The stock price is overvalued. All I remember was
he said something about that. The stock price got ahead of the performance or something.
If you had the Tesla level 2 up, and maybe this is not how the market should work, and I would acknowledge it's probably not that cool if you were long the stock. But when he made that tweet, if you had level 2 up, you just hit sell. And whatever price you hit sell at, it was just free money. And part of it is fluke, because if I had to go over, flip the Tesla, like you're paying $5 lower, it was literally free money that day, all because the CEO came out and said the stock was too expensive. I'm like, yeah, you basically told everybody to short the stock in the next 5 minutes, and it worked. So sometimes Elon can help you out, but that kind of risk overhead in a trade is not necessarily a good thing. Like, people don't want to be sitting in something when they have that kind of risk. That's been the problem with Twitter, and why as a trader, and even traders on our floor who like trading those kind of things which have tight ranges, even if it's a huge buyout spread, it usually has a good range and volume. A lot of people have been staying away from Twitter because of the headline risk, myself included. I think I've traded it twice in the last couple of months, even though it gives you some levels. I'm going to take some more shares out here of Boeing. It's starting to get relatively weak. I shouldn't ignore the fact that looks an awful lot like a wick off top with a 158.75 lower high. So I'll get some out in front of that level and start rinsing and repeating off 158. The structured breakout, where you just have an average price in the 50 to 60 level, expecting it to get 60s and above and go $3 to $5, that doesn't feel like it's going to come into play today. Maybe that's something we look for tomorrow. I think the scalp play looks like it's going to make a heck of a lot more sense. Intel is starting to work again to that downside. You know, the chips continue their strength. Obviously, at some point, Intel's going to stop working for me. But for now, I just got some filled here. I'll put execution on my black chart for when this happens. But I just got some out in front of 20s once again. My stop is still through that high of the day. I'm crossed up to about 40.65 for the execution. But Intel, going against the grain, at least for now, has been working the second time through. But I lost this morning in the strong market. I lost this morning on Intel and Li Auto shorts, and all the longs worked. I'm just going back to long, because now the market's rejecting the highs. I'm going back to these names, but I kind of felt like this was how it would play out. When you're in that barcode range in the morning and Intel was refusing to break up, if it turned into a red day, I felt like it would have been a monster. But, you know, at the end of the day, you stop out on the shorts and you hold on to the longs is the way that this day has played out, and that's what I want to continue to go back over to. Coinbase and that little pullback that we just had in crypto, not much of anything happening in coin. So I think this SDIG is going to be more exciting to play, maybe a Mar or a Hut. Coin, for all of its excitement this morning, has been a very boring trade lately. If we got through the high, there could be a 75 break, but I'm not that excited about it the way it's barcoding. It's good that it didn't drop much in that last little pullback, but it's starting to fall asleep here. I prefer maybe catching some bids on this SDIG as opposed to going to Coinbase for any of those looking at it, because crypto's been so strong.
Yeah, look, I'm starting to give back some of the money that we made here on Google because, easy come, easy go, I guess. But, we're up on Google today. It's been obviously a good trade for us. We've discussed some of the positions that we've had. And then we got stopped out, so I went short. Just thinking that, hey, the market was going to crack lower. But look, the market didn't crack anywhere, man. It's just cracking me right now. So you got to watch out. It's not really moving. We do have the imbalances, of course, at 340, 350. I'm just bringing that up. That has nothing to do with my position right now or what I feel about this trade. But I just got to hold this. We either have to take this top out or whatever for Google. I'm averaging into this one. I'd just be surprised if we break above this where we just got out. I mean, we were long when the market was starting to go up here, and we couldn't even get out of this long right here. So we were able to get out of it a little bit and then gave back some of the profits that we had on these shorts here today. But look how easy the short falls down. So I'm kind of thinking that, hey, let's go, man. Let's keep this trend alive here and start to fall back down a little bit if we can. Please and thank you, Google, right now. But you're up to that 50 period, and I do want to average into it. So we're getting close to averaging into Google right now. But yeah, a downside move, I guess not for Google. Now it wants to be bought back up. So let's just be very careful. Obviously, this name had news, so that could be part of the problem. But I'm still reading the chart here. I like the trade. I mean, in fact, let's just double our position right now off 93. I mean, I was going to wait for O's there, cancel the O's, see if we get a 93 there. What's the difference? How many pennies we take on this one right now? We're going to average into 93 there and then stop. So if we can get it, we'll take it. I was going to wait for VWAP, but let's just take it now. Hopefully we didn't miss it on the average in, but just looking at the chart, I would just be surprised to take that. So if we do, we'll get out. There it is. So now we are officially reloaded into this one. Let's see if we can have some diamond hands. I don't know. I don't think I will. I mean, I never really do. The Nvidia one was a great one. There it is. So we are reloaded now, and we're going to wait to see there. Shout out to Al Pacino there, but let's see if we can get that reload now back in to work for us. Just giving it that 30, 40 cents up here to 114.30, 114.40 or so. If it stops us out, it stops us out, but I got to give this one a try here, heading into power hour. As look at the market, man. It's a good thing we still have Meta, $3 and $2.50 in the money, but it looks like Google one more time, I guess, man, didn't want to take the bottom, so now we start going back up to the upside. Wow, what a frustrating trade Google's been for me, but hey, I'm out of the money 14 cents and acting like this is a problem. We'll lose 50 cents on this one, which should get made up. We obviously have more shares in Google than we do in Meta because we've just averaged into it. But I still think Meta could take out this 182.50, which gives us that 183, which is going to give us 250 in the money. So here we go again. It's time. It's Vader time. What's up, Brendan?
I remember when Lyft was laying people off about an hour ago. Back to highs. Here we go, up 6% once again, about to take out that high for Lyft.
You know what's interesting is when it was 60 people, that probably was worth a punch along if it was still somewhere down there. But the thing about Lyft is if you've ever traded this and you compare it to trading Uber, there's not a lot of liquidity in Lyft. And so I've never been a huge fan of the stock just as a day trade, but yeah, that just felt like it was a little bit of something. But I didn't do it, so it doesn't really matter. AMD's breaking the top. Of course, I got to care about it because Intel is threatening to break its latest consolidation. The consolidation here is about 15 cents in the money, so I could just put a stop right now at about 35.40 on Intel and say, just forget it, give it up. We're breaking out on Nvidia. I'm watching it pretty closely, and if we hold on AMD, Nvidia actually hasn't gone to the high, but it's pretty darn close. It's hard to imagine both these breaking the upside and not getting through that 40. And I'd just be sort of throwing away some profits on Intel if I didn't tighten things up. And that way, if it got to the high of the day on Intel, I could then get a much better price and not just be throwing away a little bit of extra coinage. Look at the strength. You cannot deny how strong these two are. At some point, it's going to raise even Intel upside here. Boeing about to take out that 159. That's a good sign. I was going to get to that. I kind of feel like when the market boomed up there, you're just saying that Google has been a little bit weird. Netflix to me is a little bit weird here too, because when we started breaking back toward the highs, Netflix is kind of not doing anything here, which is surprising. I've been looking for a chance to play off 217 or go back to the well for that 211 breakout. You just start buying the dip at that 211 off 210 in Netflix. Instead, can't really do much of anything because we're not going anywhere. But what I can do is listen to myself, see that break on Intel, and just say, you know what, let's accept it. I'm going to get out of Intel, reassess if it climbs back to the high. The chips are way too strong. I look at the move that's happening in the market. I check out what's going on with my other short, Li Auto. Not really threatening too much. That's a much better sign for a structured short. When I think about maybe playing something off of resistance, I go back to Alibaba. I wish it was near 105. It's not, but resistance has also been at 104.5. That could be something I go back to the well on. It was decent off of 105. It was great off of 107. Obviously, you can't rewind time. 107 was a great price. I think 104.5 looks pretty solid. This has just been relatively weak for a couple of days now. Let's hope that it can continue for anyone that might be short, but I'm considering going short if we get to that 104.5. Boeing might take that top, but I've adjusted my expectations for this to think 160. It's one thing if you're Super Stack Man or Flameboy or any of you in the chat that might have this. If you're swinging long on this and you've got bottoms or you've got the 50-period breakout or maybe you've got the 145 consolidation or the 150 break, you're letting some of this ride. As a day trader with less than an hour to go, when it's been struggling to get through the top in a market that's not at the top, yeah, I'll probably just take a $1.50 to $1.75 when it gets there because that's what I got to do. But if you're holding this swing, I feel like you're holding on to the swing because it's a great looking chart, Brendo.
You pop in Mattel, their MAT to the upside, or volume spike anyways on this. They're teaming up with SpaceX to make some SpaceX toys, guys. So huge volume came in there as we took out highs, but right back down for MAT.
Don't show it to my daughter. She'll make me buy any rocket ship that there is. That's for sure. She loves rocket ships. They'll probably have something really cool. You know what they should do? That new, the new telescope that they sent up there. They should make one of those. But I'm more of a Lego person. Mattel, they just actually reported Mattel, and this one gets spicy if it sustains the breakout today. I mean, 23.50, get above the 50-period moving average, maybe start taking out 40s, and then every 50 cents you got a scalp trade until it gets above and shows me it wants to break its range. What's been the better trade on Mattel? Just wait for it to get to 21 and go long. Or like that's the kind of thing you do with a stock that doesn't have any volume. Find a support level and put it in. And someone had a question in the chat: do you draw trend? Do you believe drawing trend lines puts too much cluster in the chart? I would say yes. That's why you only ever see me draw a line, usually for like that day or that week. And it's like maybe one or two. And a lot of times I'll do it for a point in the trade of the day. But if I'm drawing it on my daily chart or my 15-minute chart, like I would just plop a line at 21 and then leave that for a couple of weeks. I'm not putting another one in there at 22, only on the really significant levels, because I'm a believer that you can have too much clutter. And the more clutter you put, the more opportunity you give yourself to overthink things. That's why I try to have cleanish charts as much as I can, because I don't want to be sitting there overthinking things. I can do that enough for myself. Like I just talked about that SDIG. It's so easy. Like I talked myself out of getting out of this trade early on in a breakout. And I didn't even have a bunch of indicators out there. If I was putting too many indicators, I bet I would have just covered the trade much sooner. And then, not been involved in this one, not been involved in that at all this morning. Now, I think this trend can continue. Actually, have missed an opportunity to buy the dip. I wanted to see it test VWAP. Successful test for now on SDIG. So I'm looking 305s. We got some at 302. I don't think we'll see that price again unless the stock is failing. So I'll come in front of that 305 area, see if we can catch a dip buy off VWAP again and try and play this one toward the highs. Got to keep an eye on Bitcoin, of course, which I am tracking just to be sure that we're not actually falling apart. I mean, if we start really falling over and rolling over and taking profits there, these stops will get broken for sure on SDIG.
Yeah, so the frustration continues as we averaged in to Google today just now. So we'll see here what does happen. We just have like a normal position now for us against that 114.40 or 114.30 there as it's starting to go back up to the upside. Nothing I can do about this at this point as it looks like, yeah, it does want to fade back down here. Or start to head to the upside as the NASDAQ taking out levels, baby. I see some people talking about some runners. Yeah, buddy, $2.60 now in the money for Metaverse as that's coming back to the upside now as this market wants to rally. Come on, Google, man. You can get back down in, man. We're short at 114 now. I do have some stuff on the bid near 114. Actually, 114 even. I'm going to put that upside a little bit more here. We'll keep it at 114. Let's see if it can work. Let this one work a little bit. But the NASDAQ has to pull back. And if it does, and I think we have this, but I don't know if that's going to be possible here. Google's been very, very strong. Or not even. I mean, it's just It's not doing anything, so I feel like I'm probably trading the wrong name here if I want to get a short, but let's just hold out, see if Google can work its way back down. Woosah, no panic here on that one. There was something, I want to say, shout out to Trader Joe there, said Sean got smoked on Netflix. Yeah, I did, but honestly, even at its worst, it wasn't that bad for me. Like, you'll see me panic, and trust me, when it's going bad, I'll lose a lot of money. But that hasn't happened to me. I did lose 20% of my day the other day, 2 weeks ago on Microsoft. That was a Monday, so that was bad. Not this last Monday, the Monday before that. But then, as I said to you there on the chat there, Trader Joe, is that this long really helped out. Like, when we were able to get that back in at $200.60, and then take that out, some at 204.50, the rest some out at 207.50, then again there, like making back that $6 or $7, even though we lost on the way down, that did help. So as I said, I made back a third there. So, just to keep it, in check. And like I said, I tweet this stuff out myself. Like when I'm getting hit, it's just I'm trying to be honest with everybody. And that was a hit today, but I don't think it was as bad as potentially it could have been. If that 200 breaks there, then yeah, I'm not a happy camper, but thankfully it held, Brendan.
Little one moving here, Vivo, VIVO, big flush here on heavy volume to the downside. Just double checking on this, not seeing anything yet, but just a heads up on VIVO.
Vivo. Get the TiVo. Every time I hear Vivo, I think TiVo and Tropic Thunder, which is, by my estimation, the funniest movie made in the last 20 years is Tropic Thunder. I die laughing every time I hear it. And look, I see this PGY making some power moves here. I'm going to caution for this stock because I haven't checked out the float or anything. It did have a halt to the upside. It's already doubled up here. And it's pretty thinly traded. For 25 million shares on a $6 stock, I mean, where's this is still on Netflix. For that kind of volume, for this cheap, to see like 5-cent spreads, and really, when I see a 5-cent spread, like you're talking from size to size, 7-cent spread, and size is 1,000 shares. 25 million in volume, no one's posting any size here. So when it's breaking $6, there's no one stacking the offer. There's no one sitting there. Like, this is a stock that can halt very easily. I wouldn't be deceived by this, thinking you have like 5, 10, 15-cent risk, or it's a scalp style for those types of trades. Like, you are trying to take 10, 15% on your moves in this thing. I'm not sure if there's any what the catalyst might be. It looks like it's just one of those like recent issues, low floats, that is going gangbusters to the upside. And for those, I would always much rather have a good price and take a break, because you pay up on the break, spread and higher with large amounts of risk. For now, it's got a capitulation candle through $6 at today's high. A wick off top through $6. That's not a capitulation candle, sorry. The wick off top through 6, what it did here earlier in the morning on big volume. So there's some signs it's trying to reject 6 even, but it didn't even drop very far. There's some bids down in the 85 to 80 range for a few thousand shares, showing some signs of support. So it looks pretty bullish, but I don't like trading these things when I don't really know what's up with them, and I have no idea what the catalyst here. So I'll kind of try and do some diligence to see what's going on. It could just be a new issue and a low floater, which is fine. So sometimes those are good trades, but for now, it just looks a little bit tricky. And breakouts, that was 10-cent spread up at $6. I don't like cheap stocks with big spreads. It tells you that liquidity is not what you think.
I'm still, I'm on Netflix. I don't really need to be. What I should really be on here is Google as we watch out to see where this one's going to go. Shout out to everybody on the chat. Thanks so much. Well, hey, what's up, Tomahawk Trader? I just saw you. You said that this was a bad day for me. Look, I love the fact that you're watching every single day, and I want to thank you for that. But to be as honest as I can with you, I'm flat today. Like, I'm going to be red, but if I can get a couple fills, and it's going to be Google dependent here, this could still be a green day and a pretty good one. And I take that honestly as, that you're noticing this kind of stuff. Like, that's awesome. Like, I really think that, you're really noticing some of the positions, and yeah, today I will not go 10-1 or 8-2 or whatever like we've been going, but we'll hopefully just keep the trades to the north side. Like today, up on Google, up on Meta, up on Microsoft, up on Neo, up on Nvidia, up on Palantir today as well, as we put that into our pipe and start to smoke that today. So it was just off $10. It was nothing. It was at about 1 o'clock there.
Oh, so it wasn't I was going to say, if you traded Palantir in the morning show, I would have remembered that.
Yeah, nah. I mean, it was, should have still been in. That sucks. I should still be in it. Now I'm like opening up a wound here. But
yeah, but that just means maybe it's got some good levels right now. I'm only saying that because we
it's at the highs.
I don't think we've talked about Palantir for trades in a while.
Google.
That's the only thing. It's
I mean, I like Palantir. I just really focused on Google right now. I mean, this is the one that is going to make me or break me. And again, the streak right now, and it's not about streaks. I do this for the show. I think we were 19-1 our last 20, but I only went back 20 days. So I can go back further than that and see where we are. But yeah, let's go. Come on, Google. Break this to the downside, man. Break yourself, fool. If we can get that to come back in, it just keeps on resisting. I have a big, like, I don't know, we never want to talk too much about our position, but this is a good one here. Let's just see if it can continue to work and we can get something out down at that 114 level. Breaking that 114 level to the downside. I mean, meta, man. I see you. And this is what I'm talking about, Tomahawk. It's like, I try to be as honest as I can with you guys. Here we go again on this trade. Let's see if we can get this now moving to the upside with Meta taking out the day's high right now as well. And we are double long here, long there for Meta to the upside. Brendan, let's go.
New R, new relic, big mover here this afternoon on this. Exploring some sale options amid some apparent takeover interest, guys. So big pop here. It halted once already. 54 up to 60.5 here for new R.
Ooh, we like takeover chat. Now just keep in mind, like when you have those halts late in the day, you have to be careful about the timing of any halt as you get into the last 20 minutes of the day. If something ends up halting in the final 10 minutes, it won't open until 4 o'clock. So watch out for some of those, especially late. There was a point in the show I got caught in Spirit Airlines overnight in a position because I was trading stock. It had halted, then they opened it back up, and I got into position on it. And I actually taken some out for profit, but I'm like, I'm going to let a little bit of this ride. And then they just halted the stock. And then it never opened up until the following day. So just be careful with late day halts. By the way, I'm going to ring the register. It'll be a win, but not what I expected. I changed the strategy for myself here on Boeing, acknowledging the fact that late in the day, taking a structured long and trying to risk a buck and trying to make 3 to 5, it didn't make sense. Sure, for the swing, if you're swinging it, or maybe if I get it tomorrow, that does make sense. So I pivoted to just the standard from playing off 158. After this nonsense, which doesn't look pretty, but if we're getting 60s and 65s, that would make a much better first exit point. I'm just going to play the 158, take out halfway, and then put a wick off top through the high of the day, put a trail in when you put that wick off top and take profit. Now, if we get 158s again, fantastic. I'll try and rinse and repeat that, but I'm not going to be too stubborn about this. It was a good idea to get out of Intel, but the market is not through the high of the day just yet, so there is the chance that I can play off of that high on Intel. And it's not just today's high. I'm looking at the highs from yesterday, which is about 40.75. So we're 25 cents away from getting to that price. Still haven't taken any more shares out of Li Auto, but I did want to go back over to this silly SDIG thing because I kept trying to get some bids in here. Again, it bounced off VWAP, and I was sitting at 02s where I got the initial entry point. It now bounced up again. I sat at 07s. Now it's bouncing off 312, so it's putting in lower highs, but there's been no reload opportunity for me because I've been unwilling to chase it. So I'll try to get something closer to 310 here, but I don't want to be chasing it the entire way. I'd still like to be getting a decent price on this name. And then going back over to Tesla, man, like it hasn't moved yet, but it's actually trying to make a bit of a breakout here. Now 750 is the key price. I think if you're taking any long, you got resistance at 750. The short's been pretty good. If this thing pops through 750 and starts going, it's got room to run. And maybe some people want to take some risk off after what they saw with Netflix. So I don't want to sleep on Tesla. It might not be doing much, but everything can change if this sucker gets to 750 and can get through that price. I see you over there. Well, not I see you, Apple. Another name getting to that high of the day. We break this top, then you can get the rising tide lifting all ships. So when I say Intel, I like the short if we're not breaking out these highs. Apple testing the high. So you saw Tesla breaking up. That means the ES is going to start climbing to the upside. The NASDAQ's already been strong because AMD and the chips are taking them higher. If we're simultaneously breaking all those tops, I'll probably abort shorting Intel off that high and then only be thinking about these longs. I don't want a re-entry in BABA as it takes out that high of the day, or even, I said BABA, I meant Boeing. The amount of times I apologize, I do that all the time. Like I'll look at the chart, see BA and say Alibaba because I trade BABA a lot.
At least you didn't say Baba.
Yeah, but nothing wrong with BABA, but that's my bad. I meant Boeing. So this Boeing could be a breakout as well through that 160 or 159.50. I like the dips at 158 as well. And as far as Alibaba goes, whether the market's taking out highs or not, that's probably not going to dissuade me from taking the short at 104.50. That and Li Auto are in their own bucket. If Li takes out this 36.05, I'm out of the trade. If we get through 104.50 on BABA, I'm not shorting it. If we're below that price, I'm shorting the stock. And keeping to that rule has been fine for the Chinese names trading the last week. It hasn't really mattered what's going on in the market. Intel's a bit of a different beast. I'm not just going to short that if the market keeps going higher.
Oh, man, like, the frustration continues, man, because I'm just sitting here like, I literally just took 2 pennies on Google. Like, I want this. I'm now net positive, by the way. Bang. On that one, we're now net positive because there goes Meta, up to $3 now with the money. So my day is not going to now rely on Google, but you know, because we have our outs now. So I've already calculated if we get out at 114.40, we'll still be positive today. So no skin off our back on this one anymore, but doesn't mean I don't want this to work. And there's another out there right at VWAP, not even at VWAP, just at 114.02. There it is. We took another out. Come on, this has to come back in, man. Like, this is pathetic that I'm literally sitting here like, oh, you know, I want to take 3 pennies on Google or 10 cents on, like, this needs to come back in, man. My next bid is in the 90s, or sorry, in the 80s if we do crack below. I just want to see the NASDAQ pull off this high a little bit so I can get the hell out of Google because honestly, I like the name. I turned this guy around two or 3 days ago and everyone was like, what is he doing? And it's been up 6% since we turned that guy around. So let's wait to see there what's going to happen with the bull versus bear here. But man, Google's really starting to frustrate me again. So let's just pass on it for now and just move on. NEO updated out right now, 40. If that breaks 40, we're out of NEO. A nice little move back for Nike. I always said I liked Lululemon a little bit, but Nike up that 10% from the bottom pick of one flat there on that day that we talked about that. You could see it wasn't even too long ago. And it's just amazing the move up that's been the last week here in the market. It's literally, as my kids always say, Dad, literally a great move up from 102 on Nike. There's that bottom there, $100, all the way back up to 111. Let's just check out Lulu quickly here because that was another name that I did like off some of those. Yeah, 300 now off some of those. Come on, Google. I see you out of the corner of my eye. Don't try to look at me like that, Google. Up there, there's Lululemon off some of these bottoms. Again, similar to that Nike bottom of 272. Beautiful move back up to the upside, but still 10%. It's all the same. I just wanted to see if one was moving more than the other. And then GPS, man, I loved that long at $8. I don't have it in my own account. Oh, there it is. Okay, Google, I see what you're doing. I am going to take advantage of this, hopefully, and get something out there. Yes, sir, at 94. Now let's go to the downside, Google. I'm just going to start to sort of like
You're on your 20-minute chart.
Get these out. Oh, that's okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's good. Good call there. There's Google right there, starting to get some out here as we start to fall back down. Yeah, that's a good look. Look at that. Like we just took advantage of that move. I don't know, man. This is how come the magic fingers are here, the magic hands, because you got to be quick. And again, shout out to Day Trade the World that gives us the opportunity to hit these keys as fast as we can and get in and get out. And a shout out to Larry Wanta there today. I didn't want to trade net. That was a good one, right, Sheree? I didn't want to trade Netflix anymore today. So the update on the fill there is a 28 count. So you're right. And like I said, I just didn't want to revenge trade this thing. It hasn't really moved to give me that opportunity. It's moved, by the way, but you know, not enough to really make me get back into it. So there it goes to the bottom now. And let's go Google, man. This is already a day maker for me right now as it comes back in. Yeah. Where's my 89, baby?
Don't go to Brennan right away.
Boom. Let's go to Brennan. What up?
Just checking out Ford here, guys. I saw a note, big spike in Ford here. To the downside, you can see volume coming in. It's 6,000, I believe, layoffs coming for Ford. I'll double check though, but looks like 6,000 layoffs announced by Ford.
I don't care what they announce. I'm not trading Ford in the afternoon. You saw what happened when I tried to put a trade on the other day. It just wouldn't move Ford. So reacting to these layoff news, fine, I get it, big volume spike, but it probably moves a few cents. There was a cool question in the chat there that I will admit I had to look this one up, and by look it up, ask the crew here, which is Brendan and Lucas came up with the answer. When did Trader TV come on YouTube?
2019.
Well, so we started doing the show in 2019. We went to YouTube, apparently, on March 2nd of 2020. I thought it was earlier than that.
No, I looked it up. Well, I don't know. Our YouTube account is from August of 2019. I don't know.
Maybe that's the thing. When we started streaming, I think the first stream, I guess, was in March of 2020. I felt like it was earlier than that. But
it was.
I defer to, these guys are saying it was in either way, sometime between late 2019 and then 2020. So keep in mind, we were doing this internally at Day Trade the World, broadcast to the other offices as a training tool for offices.
Yeah, he's probably right.
Then it turned into this on YouTube right around after the pandemic started and things started going crazy. And my horrible segue is, and things went crazy in Memeville around that time as well, which is my segue to AMC breaking the high of the day. See, we can try to make. I'm not a professional.
That was a good one.
But I can try to swing from one topic to another. But yeah, AMC breaking the high of the day here. Just a little pause. This rejected the 17 break from yesterday. This rejected 1780 pretty harshly. Like, I think I was getting out at 60s and then trying to hold for 80s when it got to this and then just wicked down. So I'm a little skeptical of it getting through this high at 1780. But I played this game before where you can get some scalp trades in as you're making a bit of a breakout. So 1750 if we pull back to be sure. I just think we might pull back off that 1780, yesterday's high. That's still resistance as far as I'm concerned. So if we pull back from there, I'll play some dips. I think the even is a pretty good target. I can't talk one without talking the other. And simultaneously, GameStop made it. So AMC breaks the high of the day, and GameStop breaks an even dollar and just gives you a 70-cent scalp. But the spread, 20 pennies, the volume, infinitesimal. I think AMC is probably the trade here. So that's what I'll be leaning over to. But yeah, you can't keep it down. Like the breakout of the high today, randomly at 1670, is a better trade than that clean 17 break in terms of follow through. So sometimes the setup can look really great, and then it only gives you 930. That's what happened yesterday. Today, all the follow through you want on AMC when I'm not trading it for the first time in a while, but I'll plop myself into this consolidation. I think it's going to pull back off 1780. It'll see that high from yesterday and probably work out and probably give a little bit of a pullback for us to be able to get in. And Joker Gaming took Sundial long for 10%.
Sick. Strong
move, man. You know what's crazy? In all of the talk about the cannabis names the last couple of days, I don't think I really gave Sundial much of a look. And that's, hey, man, that's about as clean a break as you're going to be able to see. Pre-market, tight consolidation. There has been some juice on these. I mean, I should come up with a better pun than that. There has been some juice to the cannabis market this week. So you're forming a good low off 32, which is forming a wedge. And when you form a wedge, you either break down or you usually break up. You take the break. I'm assuming your stop is like 31.5 or whatever it might be, risking a penny and then making 4 and getting a 10% move. I don't think it's much of a trade for the rest of the day, but sometimes really simplistic trading ideas are the best ones. So I like what you did there in Sundial. If it gets to 50 cents, I'm probably short the stock because it usually works. Li Auto, I got another reload there. It's like the third time since 130 I'm getting that trade. It hasn't really rolled over yet, but I'll get back on the bid in those 80s just to try and rinse and repeat. This and Alibaba, Baba hasn't come in for me yet, but when it does, I'll take the short if I can get it. Intel, I've backed away from wanting the shorts in. And I don't think I'll be shorting. I should have said this. Even though I said you might reverse a little bit or pull back off AMC at that 1780, I don't think I've even paid for shorts today, so I'm not really anticipating shorting that level. I just think I might give an entry to buy the dip, Brendan.
Just saw this one, Village Farms International. I don't know. 12% just took out the highs there on a volume spike. Just checking on that. Also, it's 8,000, not 6,000 for Ford.
I was going to look at Ford right now, but let's just go slap shot here. Okay, so meta right now. If this market cracks below the 70, we are on the 50 period again. We got to try to appreciate it and watch it for this break to the downside. So we're going to get out if meta does break below this 70 level or whatever this is here on the 50 period at 70, 79, 80, something like that. So watch out for meta to come out now. And then, yeah, we will ring the register. And I'm not happy about it. I'm going to slap a fail bail on Google because I just spent too much brain capital on it. But whenever you're making money, you shouldn't complain. So we won't do that right now. Like my mother said, if you don't have, I don't think she said this, but this is what probably a lot of mothers say. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it at all. But I have some nice things to say about Google, but just not about the short. It's just bouncing around and not doing much. This is the #1 holding in my account for the long term, obviously. I've talked about that about numerous times. Oh, thank you, Tomahawk Trader, I think it was, calling us the best show on YouTube. I do appreciate that. And Daniel Bender, I appreciate this more than anything, of course. 24 months a member, daily watching. And since then, a lot of people have said the same thing. So we're going to go cha-ching. Thank you so much for watching. And we hope that we were created a little bit of a register for you to ring by watching the show. So thank you so much again for all your support. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that means a lot to us. And then if you're not a member, cool. But definitely hit the like button, hit the subscribe. Like right now, I'm just going to do this. A little scary to see me twice. I understand that. 700 likes, 4,400 people watching. Right now. So there it is right there. Yeah, we'll do that like that. But yeah,
don't shake.
One of me is enough, not two. Yeah. Don't ever do that again, Sean. Never.
Because in Windows,
I haven't been able to figure that out. The shake thing. Sometimes I get, what's it called? It's not sticky keys. It's
I forget what it's called, but
window shaking.
You guys know what I'm talking about. You shake a screen on Windows and then everything minimizes. Like, whose brilliant idea? Like, why would you need that? Why would I want that to happen? When I minimize everything, it doesn't make any sense to me. So by the way, I want to quickly talk about SDIG. I still have been unable to get any of the dip buys. So forget about these now. Now you're starting to reject this 325, and this move doesn't have a lot of volume with it. So I'm going to pop on. You know what? Forget this. I just want to chase it a little bit here, which I'm not going to do. I'm just going to hit the bid. I feel like you're rejecting lower highs here. And you just put a wick off top. So I just hit 21s to get out of this trade. I still think maybe we'll get a chance to bounce off 3, but we're starting to slow down on each one of these pops. And we keep falling a little bit lower off 24,000 as well on Bitcoin. That's the other part of it. So start making lower highs. We'll bag that trade and just get out of it and take the money and run a little bit there. But I did want to come over to, we're going to go to Brendan in a second. He's got some good information for us. But AMC, just coming back to the last name we were talking about, for now is rejecting that 1780 price, but it hasn't pulled back yet. So I'm sitting on the bid. I think we'll probably stall out at about 1750, but it is reversing right around where it made some sense to me. That's just yesterday's high. Nothing too crazy.
You say we're going to Brendan. I didn't hear Brendan call, but are we going to Brendan? No, we're not. Okay, you might have heard me just under my breath say Meta, because right now Meta is now $3 in the money. That's what I'm talking about. This is the kind of stuff that I'm talking about, baby. This is why. Look, taking profits is great, but, you know, it's something like what Brad said, and I don't believe it to the same extent that Brad said, but no reward, no Rari, he always says. So, you know, we're going to Rari it up one more time here today. Go positive for us today. Put some gas in the old Ferrari. Not that I own one, but there it is, a nice little move. As gas prices coming down a little bit here, which is nice to see. Google now starting to pay off again. Let's put a bid back into the 80s right now somewhere just to see if we can get it out there. We do have lower bids, obviously, on this name. If it can come through, that would be great. But for right now, it's Meta up to the upside right here like crazy. Look, I know, shout out to Jason there. More Sean's equals more likes. Can't do that today. I can't replicate myself. Tried a couple times, but unable to do that. My wife might not want that, but we can't do that. So I'm going to be here every day regardless. But what I wanted to get at, no risk, no Rari. That's what he says there.
Yeah, no risk, no Rari.
Thanks for that one. But all right, so that's what we're looking at. Nvidia was the big one today. Obviously, this is a Rari trade for sure today. Downside, where is my long? Right there, 168 up to 178. $10 for you on that. Oh, that's what I want to do. I want to look at Ford. We only have now 17 minutes. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, Brennan. I don't know if that story came with like how many employees they have. I feel like 8,000. Although, look, man, that's a lot. Like, anybody losing their job really makes.
That's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it makes me sick, to be honest with you. I mean, I'm a subscriber, a shareholder of Ford. We've been talking about that. Made a lot of money on this name, but not really moving on that. And I hate it. I hate layoffs. I hate all that stuff. Like, we could sit here and talk about the market all we want, but like, honestly, it's the people that drive the economy. And like, I know that they say that unemployment is at like lows. don't know if I even believe that, but you know, Ford again with the layoffs still up that 0.75, looking like it just wants to hang out here. So fine, Ford, that's fine on that one. I'm not going to trade it like Neil said. When you're into the close, you really got to do something that's moving, or it's not really going to go. Oh, that's what. That's
or you just end up like I sat in the one trade in the 5-cent range
it's not
for the
exciting.
entire show, for the entire 2 hours, and I thought it was going to go. It was so strong all day long, and then didn't do anything. But I think AMC might be that. But like you just said, at some point with all of these layoffs, and the Fed has already come out and basically, you know, Powell said that, you know, the unemployment rate could go up, and that would, not that it would be okay, but that would still be, you know, within an acceptable range without directly saying that. So with all these layoffs, at some point, I think you're going to start to see that pressure on the labor market, despite the fact that all those jobs are out there. I just got into AMC. It ended up, instead of bouncing at 50, the bounce was just at 1756, which is a distinction without a difference. So I started on that initial bounce. I want to play this off of this 50 area to be sure. So it turned around where we kind of expect a little bit shy of that. So it might dip a little bit further past that 50. But AMC is a mover this afternoon. And I thought we were going to Brendan because he posted this chart just basically saying the implied vol looks like 7% on.
How did he find that?
Tesla.
Did you find that? Me and Brendan stayed back last night.
No, it is an icon. It looks like he pulled it from icon.
Good, so he must have found it.
Oh, it's not from icon. Never mind.
But he found where it is.
He found something.
That's
he found
important.
something.
I mean, I guess I could have just asked Sharif. He found that pretty quickly when I asked him.
Well, I know for the big ones, it's
shit.
so easy to just find it. Like you just put it on Twitter, implied vol, or just Google it. Like it's always there for all the bigger names.
All right. Yeah, you can Google it. I mean, it's
always
just,
out there.
I just like, it's about trusting the system too, right? Like that icon's been pretty good for us.
Yeah.
So the source, good one. There it is. Let's hit this. Okay, so Meta. Let's get off Meta. What are you doing? Right there. You know, if we break through 183, we're gone. That's going to happen very, very soon. So watch out for that one. But look what's happening right now. Come on, Google. I wish we would have believed in this name a little bit more. And welcome to My Life. Hi, my name is Sean. You know, we always think like, hey, we second guess ourselves all the time. That's what I do, right? But there it is, Google to the downside. I said, man, that we were not going to let this thing break higher. It didn't. We shorted it. We believed in it right now. And although I'm only holding a quarter of this trade, let's see if it can work back in now. My bid's in the 50s here for Google. So if this can come back in, yes, sir, we got it. And there it is to end the trade right now. We are on one today. Not that we're doing any of that, but look at this, man. Another one for us on Meta, out right there as it breaks back down below. We talked about that. It's been such a great day. I hope that like count is up. There it is, near 1,000. So let's go, man. Hit the siren. We are on one today. It is a hot dog kind of day for us. What's up, Maggie? Making an early appearance. I like that. But here we go. Again, another one for us. What a great day this has been. And like, I was like, oh man, like this market, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden, man, just with the magic couple trades here with the fingers, we put our net bang back to the upside here, and we're at the highest spot we've been at all day right now. So shout out to Tomahawk Trader, shout out to Trader Joe, everybody on the chat there. Thanks for the support, thanks for the love, and we're going to be here every single day making that money back. We didn't think we'd be positive today after we really did bad on Netflix, came down in. Got you. Down there, up to 215 right here.
Mouth.
So there it is. Hey, man, it's entertainment.
I'm joking around,
I
man.
know you're joking
Whatever.
around, but
I've said shit the bed too, so it's
it's all good.
Someone just said in the chat, show your chart for the AMC entry. I think I was, but if I moved off it too quickly, I do apologize for it. I said 1780, you could turn around. I'm looking at that previous high of the day. There was also this nice little consolidation, I mean, on the way to the upside there. So anticipating that you'd have that bit of a gap as it pulled back in. It stalled at 55. I jumped in front of the bid and got some shares to initially get in at 58. I'm also willing to take more in front of 50. Give it to the break of this candle here at 1745, and that'll be my end. I'm not taking any profit till it gets back and reestablishes the high of the day, and then breaks the high and goes to 18. So that's my thought process. And before we go to Brendan, I said if we were breaking highs in the market, I wouldn't short Intel. Well, we just turned around off 12.5 on the NASDAQ and pulled back, and Intel was still below yesterday's high. So I wait. I did get out of the short when it broke 40.40. That was still a bit of a winner, but I waited for it to grind higher, market reject, and then I get back into the Intel short. You don't always have to get into this and stand in front of a moving freight train. Sometimes you can just wait for it to start to go and then join the party, Brendan.
Hedgeye, guys, just out with a short note on Canada Goose, of all companies. So a bit of a spike down there on volume for Goose.
Because of global warming?
Goose. Oh, that was a good one about. Oh yeah, maybe it has something to do.
Talk to me.
That's what I was going to say about Top Gun. There,
I've seen a lot of those shirts. Like there's like the Talk to Me Goose.
Oh, is there?
T-shirt. It's like because it's a famous line from the original. I still haven't seen
the
new
OG
one.
baby. I haven't seen the new one either. So I mean, that's something that definitely I'll probably wind up taking the kids to the Minions one. I don't know. I took my son to Jurassic Park. That was pretty awesome. We really liked that one. Dominion. That was fun.
Is it
that's
good?
just yeah. The Jurassic Park movie.
Yeah,
I mean,
I kind of feel like
the good thing about it is that I actually didn't see the last two, I don't think, or maybe just the last one. I don't know what it's called, Lost World. I don't know what it's called. I have no idea. I just made
That's
that
like
up.
the third.
Okay, is it? Okay, so
the third one.
anyways, I feel like all the characters united in this one again. So some of the doctors from the first
like the
one.
original characters?
Yeah. So it is pretty cool. So I like that. So kind of like a throwback to Top Gun, to be honest with you, kind of like that, but not to compare the two franchises.
Well, they didn't have Val Kilmer in this new one, so
That's the other thing.
you don't have the Iceman.
Yeah, well, you haven't seen it, so we'll leave it at that. Okay, let's just go here.
Don't mess with me, man.
Okay. I haven't seen it. So we'll let the chat talk to you about that. Okay, Google here, again, just to the downside. We didn't get anything out. We're going to wait for it. We still have our out here at 1:14:30 or so to get out, so we'll wait for that one. Yeah, hey, Ron Williams, I said not to ruin it there in the chat, so don't look, Neil.
I'm going to watch it.
Yeah, we'll watch
eventually.
it. We will watch all of this eventually there.
love the Iceman.
Yeah. You know,
Val Kilmer is responsible for two of in my top 10 badass movie characters. Val Kilmer played two of them. Doc Holliday, who's number one, and then Iceman's somewhere in there, obviously. But Val Kilmer is an absolute beast, man. So if he's in there, great, fantastic. I'm not going to look to see. Don't tell me like what he does or anything like that because I don't want to have it spoiled. But that's pretty cool. I'm going to get on the bid in front of 4050 on Intel. Basically the same theory as why I got the long in AMC. When you break the high and then get to next resistance level, sometimes you stall the pullback or start stalling the pullback here at that previous top. So that's where my first bids are going to be on that short for Intel. It's sort of the same reason why I was getting into AMC on that long side of the trade. It is past 340. I don't think there's much
I still ain't happy with the likes, man.
Seriously? Maybe I was about to say what the imbalances
Let me see if
were.
you do it.
Maybe I won't say it. Oh, you know
Screw
what?
the imbalances. We don't got no likes.
I'll tell you this much. It's Wednesday, which means we're 2 days away from Friday. And I did have a little ditty prepared for Friday, but you know what? That is always dependent on us actually getting likes because if you don't show the love...
Is it original? Is it an original or it's...
Look, if you want me to write a rap, which I'm not talented enough to do, we need to get 5,000 likes. I'll do it. I would attempt to write some bars and then perform my own thing.
All right,
but I got something that you guys probably would not have heard. So I have something ready, but if we can't even get to 1,000 today and then let alone 15 to 2 every single day going into Friday.
What are these guys doing?
Then what are we doing here, man? And we're probably going to get even Tony on the bell for a little bit of fun. We don't ask much out of you guys. I ask you not to spoil Top Gun for me, but
I want Maggie on the bell. I want Maggie on the bell. Who wants Maggie on the bell?
I think so.
I think so too.
Maggie's not even listening to us right now.
Nah, yeah, she's ignoring. She doesn't want to go on the bell. We'll get her. We'll get her here. I think Maggie and Lucas on the bell should be something there.
Oh, by the way, on Friday, there's a grudge...
Sean on the bell?
On Friday, we're going bowling, and let's not forget there's a grudge match between Lucas and Fahad.
It's not even a grudge match. It's like the original match.
It's the original match.
Yeah, like...
in bowling, because Fahad, who's only bowled once in his entire life, seems to think that because he can play basketball and other sports, he's good at bowling.
Did you hear the story this morning was the best?
What?
Remember he said he tried to let his wife lose when they played one-on-one in basketball, but every time he just kept getting it in the basket. Like, he tried to miss, but it just kept going in. Like, that's how good Fahad is at sports.
Well, what's going to happen on Friday is he's going to try and make a strike, and he's going to put it in the gutter, like most people do when they try bowling for the first time.
And it's not like you're saying, I mean, you've admitted. Yeah,
look, I'm not a very good bowler. I play a lot of sports, and I'm good at most sports I've tried. And I suck at bowling, and I'm going to suck on Friday, and I'm going to enjoy doing it and have a beverage while I'm at it. And Fahad is going to get a humbling experience because bowling's like golf, man. It's a skill sport. You got to practice at it to be good at it. You don't just walk around and like, oh, I can bowl, I'll be good. Lucas is mopping the floor with them. If you want to figure out some kind of a challenge, Fahad, No, here's the thing. I will do something humiliating in front of everybody here. All I will ask is, I know Fahad doesn't want to show his face, but if he beats Lucas, you have to somehow find a way to return the favor. Like, I'll face paint like a flag or something you want me to put up there, or your favorite team, or shout out to like Mike and Little Bow Wow because you love them. if you happen to win, which you're not going to do, Fahad. I'm looking at you right now. You're not going to beat Lucas. But you got to figure out something you're going to do on camera. You don't have to show your face, but and it can't be 10 push-ups, because I know you'll crank those ones out.
I'll tie my hair in pigtails.
Fahad, if he loses, he will tie his hair in pigtails,
No.
and then you can ring the bell.
No, not accepted.
That's not good enough?
No, not even close.
That's fine by me.
Pigtails.
That's fine by me.
I mean, okay, if it's fine by you. You guys are the one making the bet. I feel like give us a couple days here, guys.
You guys don't like the pigtails for Fahad ringing the bell?
What? So you can stand backwards with pigtails up? I mean, I don't know. I like it. I don't mind it. I mean, we're just spitting here. So let's wait. I don't want to commit to that.
That's a good one.
Exactly. I even looked at the chat.
So
I feel
the
like
chat just said I should wear Fahad's capris on the show.
Yes.
So here's
yes,
the,
kneel
here's
in
the thing.
capris. Yes.
Here's the thing.
Yes.
I don't have a problem with that, because I'll lose bet. Like when Italy beat England,
Yes.
I had face
Yes.
paint. That's fun, because monetary bets with your friends are stupid in my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't want my friends.
Whatever.
money.
I'll just make money right now.
However, if you can figure something you'll do as well, because you're willing to wear capris. I think they're ridiculous, so that's humiliation for me if I have to wear capris, Fahad. So figure something out. By the way, market coming down, you're going to have to cover some Liado on the way back in, but it didn't take AMC to the downside. AMC back to that high of the day, so we buy the dip on AMC, just got some out at the high of the day. That's working to the upside. Liado's working to the downside, so while we're doing that,
maybe you have
we're
to like
still able to make
wrap
some
in your
trades here.
capris. Like that would be wrapping in your capris. Then you're like
well,
the
like, hold on,
ultimate.
how are you people going to see that I'm in capris? Like, what am I ringing the bell in them?
Yes.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
The thing is, I don't know. The thing about bowling is, and I know we're getting carried away here, and we're going to go back to the market as hopefully Google can come down. It's not easy. Like if Fahad is telling the truth, which I believe he is, and it's never bowled, I just don't see how someone that's never bowled is going to beat someone who is quite comfortable at bowling. That's
So for anyone that didn't watch the first day,
it's like billiards or like darts or something. It looks easy, but like you're not.
I know, it's
like,
not easy.
Fahad, like, can you beat me at darts, for example? Probably.
No.
See that this is
so for anyone that doesn't know this, Sean's really good at bar sports. Like Sean's a very good. He's a very good pool player.
I'm confident I'd be Fahad in most things, but I mean honestly.
Oh
No,
Fahad.
I haven't played darts in like 10 years.
Fahad.
Okay, let's just go. It doesn't matter.
Stop,
We'll talk about this afterwards. He's a very confident individual. Let's leave. I can probably say Fahad, like my account versus yours on the day. The dude will just buy 10,000 shares of Veru and then I'll lose.
Actually, what is Veru doing?
I don't know. I don't even want to look
The
at Veru.
CEO of Veru. If this stock is up like 10%, then Fahad continues to win.
All right. That's what I'm saying, Daniel. Daniel's saying he's a frequent bowler. Like, you cannot just beat somebody who doesn't know bowling. Okay.
Veru's turned to disaster.
This is going to be a disaster. But you mentioned having a couple or one or two. You said something about drinks.
Liado came down, took some out. Intel came down.
We'll be drinking a little
AMC
more
came
than
up.
one drink there.
Well, that's the plan.
Yeah, that is the plan. So here we go. A downside move right now. Good thing. I don't know if it's good or not, but we did get out of Meta there as it's starting to bounce around. Google's starting to come back in a little bit. I'm still holding out for for lower lows, higher highs. Hopefully not higher highs on Google. But right here, like I still think we take this. I don't have any bids until down here into the 50s on Google. So that's where I believe this name's going. You know, been wrong before a couple times today, but not enough to affect our net. Like we said, yo, Lyft.
Can we live stream the bowling somehow? People are asking about that. Someone asked about that the other day.
We ain't live streaming bowling, but we will. I tweet out personal stuff.
We'll have video up of it. I mean, live streaming is a different story.
We're all going there. So like our social
everyone's gonna
media
be
team
there.
will.
Yeah.
I manage my own social media, but we do have somebody here that will be there with us. So hopefully she'll be able to take some videos. Shout out to Liz, just works on some of the posts for the Trader TV Live account. So Liz will be there. But yeah, it should be fun. Okay, the imbalance is coming through right now. Do we have an update on what they might be? Did I miss that there in the chat? Squawk. Financial Juice program, 38 million to sell. Was that what it was, Brendo, there? I'm kind of caught up there in the chat. Nothing. So it's a moot point anyways as we go ho-hum on that. So we'll watch out for that. The imbalance is coming through very, very soon. What a great day for Nvidia. What a great day for Netflix today as that continues to rock and roll. How about PayPal, PYPL, a name that we don't often look at here because it's kind of been doing nothing. I had a great trade on PayPal the other day. I think it was when the Stripe funding went down around. We shorted PayPal into that news because if Stripe's funding is they're going to down round, so they're going to raise less this recent round than they did the round before. That's not good, especially if you're a competitor of said business, right? So there it is. Just for an update, I lied. I got out some more Google right there at 114, just as we head into the imbalances with only a minute left. Let's take another piece out. Look, it's, again, another 10-cent win, 13-cent win, but let's just see where it goes now into this close for Google. Pretty happy with the price action so far that we've had, and it's been a good day with only 40 seconds left here. Another big one, Tesla earnings. Sharif mentioned to me there were some whispers around that he was thinking about 405, 404, something like that, although it is scheduled for 410, could come out on the show live,
that would be
Tesla.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But just like Netflix, man, Netflix came out, it was 220, 225, and then it went all the way back down. Tesla's going to be very interesting into the call, I believe, there.
So the call's always going to be spicy there. Even though Elon kept saying he's not going to be as involved in the calls. I mean, come on. Can he not?
He ain't going to be involved in something?
No, but he said he was pulling back on those.
Yeah,
I covered Intel going into these imbalances. Don't want to be holding too much, but I'll hold Li Auto and AMC because we have our stock. But here they come, and we're about to get them dropping. Sometimes they're big, sometimes they're not. But we're going to get these ones for you live here to see what is up. And we have overall, what is HTA? 6 million to sell. I mean, AT&T is 1.2. It looks like that's probably the acquiring side of a buyout.
I heard Brankles. He yelled it out. Yeah. So we do have information here where some of the traders on the floor and people that are part of Day Trade the World, we do know stocks that are coming in and out of indexes or something that's being acquired. So HTA is the acquirer, he said. So that would make sense that this stock there was 6.7 million shares. I don't even know what HTA is. I apologize. Let's look at that. What is that? Right now, healthcare trust. Okay, so it's a trust. Probably not going to move too much, but there's the move down in for this name. Down a couple pennies as it is a big sell. AT&T, that's not enough to move the needle. There's Intel, maybe Pin's moving because 580,000 shares is pretty good for Pinterest, so we can have a quick, not barcode central here for Pinterest. Not much happening. I don't see anything really on here. I'm still into Neo as this cracks lower, so there's the imbalance locator. I will go over that for you guys in a minute, but all right, just to check back. Google, a nothing burger one more time, so let's put something at 02, see if we get that bid. Let's get out of Neo here back because why not? We only have that 6 minutes left before the market ends. Well, 8 minutes left before the market ends. And then we get TSL to the A. That should be a good one as well. Tesla coming through at the end of the day. We will go over earnings because there are a few other names that are going to be on the board today into tomorrow. And what we talk about for earnings are tonight and or tomorrow morning before trade. So if you can't tell that I'm Italian, now you may know that as we do talk with our hands. And someone tweeted something funny out when I was yelling, not yelling.
Only Italians talk with their hands?
Pretty much. I mean, they're infamous for it. But back and forth there when I was talking with the T-ball players, and I was like, and I was using the hands there. So yeah, that's Italians are famous for talking with their hands.
Some things, right? I like it, but I like the fact that we're near the end of the day because it gives us the action of what I think Tesla's going to be crazy. But I have to get out of some of these trades. I'm going to cover some more of Li Auto. Doesn't want to flush from here. I might be back right into this stock if it's below 36 again. Then I'm probably going to be short tomorrow on Li Auto and just keep going back to this well. But we have to cover this one. AMC is running out of time to make any kind of run at 18, unless you can hold after 4 o'clock, because sometimes that'll happen as well. So it seems like it's rejecting that high another time here. So we'll just get out of AMC altogether. It could be another one of these trades where tomorrow AMC is still above that 1750. It's still breaking out on that higher time frame and trying to go to the next level, 18 and even higher. So we might come back to the well and revisit this one. But for now, do have to cover it as we got to be flat in the next 7 minutes.
Yeah, today was a great day after all, man. We are going to hit our one-time daily goal in a couple seconds, hopefully, off this Google trade. But what's up, J-Bum? I saw you a couple times there in the chat, so I'm not trying to speak at a turn here. You asked for a couple times swing trade ideas because the ones I've given you so far have worked over the last little while. I mean, there's a reason why I was long a couple times Meta today. Look at this. If you just look at a daily chart, you're breaking above the 50 period here on strong moves for Meta. That 180 is a great level. I don't know if we're going to test that again. We could. I mean, anything can happen here. But I would just say for that trade, I actually like this as a move to the high side. I think we can get to 200 pretty quickly here on Meta. But again, very, very risky. And this is why, taking swing trades into earnings season, can be risky. I don't think Meta is going to be affected at all by Tesla or anything like that. So that's why I can sort of confidently give that to you as a swing trade idea. I personally don't do swing trades. I get enough excitement and everything from the show, if you can't tell. But, I do like that as a play. If you're going to do anything, I just think Meta's been so strong today, up 4.2%, and still motoring. Like, these are longs down here at 177 today. So, that's where I believe, if it gets back down, I think that's a great buy if that can happen again. So for me, I'm just going to tell you Meta, and I think that could work to the upside for a swing trade. And by the way, like I said, one-time daily goal. Let's go. We can dance it off right now because here comes Google. My bids are in the 50s. So let's see if we can get one more down there into the 50s on Google. But there it is right now, cracking lower. We get our lowest bid right now on Google right there. So a couple shorts got in there. We got a good price of 114 flat. So some of these aren't really making any money, but that last tick is. So let's see now if we're lucky enough to get this down into 113.50 with only 5 minutes left. Remember, there is a reversal coming up in these imbalances now at 355.
And by the way, like I punched out of Intel, that was a buy imbalance on Intel, which it comes out a million often, then pairs off. It was 1.2 million. Now it's gone. Intel is notorious for always pairing off, regardless of how big that bounce might be. I'm pulling up Rhythm here because I remember Rhythm. We traded this, I think it was last week, maybe it was 2 weeks ago. Last week we were trading it. Another runner. I got to add this to my watch list for tomorrow. I didn't even notice this getting back to the high of the day. Strong day for this. And again, this has been a big breakout since 5. Ooh, above that 13. Spicy one. Add this to the watch list for tomorrow morning to be sure. We do have a few earnings that aren't Tesla, so let's see that board there, Brendo.
Yeah, a few interesting ones. In fact, we're back into some airlines coming as well. AT&T on here, but also more tomorrow. More on, I was going to say, no, tomorrow's Thursday, so more tomorrow, guys.
Yeah, tomorrow is Thursday, my man. Yeah, you're right. I mean, there's not much I care about too much. Oh, I'm a Nucor shareholder, so I do like Nucor there. Not that it matters. I'm not getting out. I was able to get something out on that steel producer a lot higher than where it is today. But Nucor is a name that I like, of course. That was part of that like Build Back Better plan. Like, whatever happened to that? And then AA on there as well, American. So
and United, but we care more about maybe. I care more about American, but.
Just a nice sector there to watch out for tomorrow. You know what, man? We may get it. We may get this on Google down into the 50s, man. 20 more pennies, and I'll be pretty happy camper if we do get these 50s here on Google. Again, another positive name for us today. And now that we're done this, I could do this. I do it every single day. Like Amazon, we're going to be negative on 2 names today. One is going to be Amazon. Why? It's not a horrible trade. It's just we were short earlier and just wasn't able to get, well, actually, it's not that. I guess it must be, it's these longs. It's these longs here that cost me. So it's these longs here that cost me somewhat. It's not, I'm not negative that much. I can't even find like where I'm negative on it, but Amazon's a negative name for me. Google's obviously positive. Meta's positive today, as you can see some of these big moves here coming on Meta today for me. Long again. Microsoft, honestly, that's a pretty good one for me right there. Netflix is going to be the loser, so we have 2 losers, Amazon and Netflix. Despite that and closing near the highs, we still lose on it. NIO, we just got out there at 32 or 33, so that's a nice winning trade for us today. Nvidia is your trade of the day, and a trade that I could be more proud of as we gave that to you nice and early there on Nvidia. And then Palantir, a cup of coffee, or maybe more like a bottle of wine here for Palantir today. Just a little bit of money there made on PLTR. So today we're going to go I think it's 6-2 today. So it's all right. It might be 5-2. I'll do the math again, but still a positive day, and we're pretty happy to be here with you.
Actually, someone asked in the chat, is Danielle still short Tesla? Don't know. Actually, not sure about that, but I quickly wanted to mention this because you showed us, someone mentioned Rhythm up at the high of the day. CHPT. Making a power move as well, breaking out through the top. So there are some late day runners here that you want to have on your radar for tomorrow. We've got about 90 seconds until we get to that close. And of course, what am I going to be watching at 4 o'clock? The same thing everyone else is going to be watching at 4 o'clock, Tesla. I don't know if maybe we do get that surprise and it comes out right after the close. It's entirely possible it is 4:10, and then we can't be live for you guys when it comes out. But this is a place to watch. It's going to be Tesla. It's going to be a mover. It's got that 750 still looming. I know there's some people out there that are going to be looking for a 750 break if this thing goes to the upside, just given how tight that resistance is.
All right. I guess Maggie ran away, so
know
she's
who's
not
on.
going to be here on the bell. I mean, I'd offer up more people, but hey, I don't know if they want to. It looks like it's going to be Tuesdays. You ladies want to go on the bell? You're welcome to go on the bell today. Why not? If you want to ring
It's
it,
a lot of indecision right there.
forget about Tony. I'll just tell Tony to go the other way.
He's not even here right now. It's like 1 minute to go. I don't see anybody
Whatever.
there.
Tony's just chilling, straight chilling. Who cares? Tony, give up the bell, man. Someone else is going to ring it. You guys want to ring it today or not? Nah, nobody wants to. Jeez, wow.
You
guys.
gotta want it.
Yeah, you gotta want it. That's for sure. All right, it doesn't look like that's Palantir still.
I go Superman it if you want.
I don't. It doesn't matter to me. I mean, Tony's there. We might as
Tony's
well.
there,
We might
it's
as well do Tony. Tony's right there, so we don't want to disappoint the Tony fans, as there's lots of them here.
Ooh,
so
Tesla's selling a little bit going into this. Remember Netflix was ripping pretty much the entire time?
I feel like I'm gonna hate myself for not
Tesla's
selling
been
that.
finding resistance at 750, and again is selling off into the close. So kind of the opposite. Relatively weak here going into the close for Tesla, and we saw Netflix was going the other way and then boomed even higher. Tony is going to be in the bell because I do see him over there. So let's drop the countdown. It's been a good one. It's hump day, which just means we still have a second half of the week, which is going to be good. And Tesla earnings after this bell in 5, 4, 3, 2, and ring it, Tony. And there we go.
All right. Yeah, we love Tony. Thanks, Tony, for that again as well. Tony, trying to get him on TV obviously as much as possible there. All right, so we do have net Tesla up. We'll wait for that to come through. Hopefully it does, man. Yeah, good day overall for me. And I think it was probably a good day for you guys as well. Thank you for hitting the like button as much as you did. And if you haven't, please do it again. Brendan, it seems like the markets were pretty good today. Not sure about oil, but equities up?
Yeah, just preparing my window here for Tesla. Let's have a look. Here we go. Positive right across the board. S&P 0.65, 0.3 there for the Dow. The NASDAQ led the way all day, even on the pullback, held 1%. So nice numbers right across the board. I'll flip over and show you nothing here yet, guys, for Tesla.
And not yet. There will be fireworks, obviously, but it is what it is. We can't force them to come out at 4 o'clock and give you that excitement.
I mean, I feel like what do they even want? I mean, Tesla's so well covered. It's so well. I mean, it's going to have to be a crazy beat or miss somewhere there. I almost feel like the move for Tesla will probably happen on the conference call when they start discussing future or any kind of a guide that they give or something like that.
Or if they don't.
Because the thing is, they already give out their deliveries. It's like NEO and XPeng and all that. We already know they missed a little bit deliveries. I think it was last month or a couple weeks ago. They come out on Saturday, the Tesla delivery numbers. So, they were sort of in line. I guess it's just more about the EPS and where we go from there. And then after EPS, like Netflix beat, right? Their EPS was huge. It was 330 versus 294. So I kind of expect Tesla to be in line. And then to me, it's just about what's up with the gigafactories, what's up with China. How are we doing? Are we back on? And what was all that talk about throwing money in a furnace? That's really what I want to see.
The biggest move is if they miss, because they usually beat in terms of earnings. If they miss on earnings, like that's where you get the biggest move for Tesla, especially in front of 750 resistance. I don't want it to happen. I still own shares of Tesla, but
they're not good.
I don't think we're gonna get it. And if it's 404,
I didn't take any
that's
out.
pretty rare,
I
but
still was in this. I was going to get out, but I didn't. So, okay, we're kind of just delaying to see if we can get Tesla to come through, but it doesn't look like it's going to. So I'm going to do a big shout out one more time to everybody, to our whole Trader TV Live team, of course, as we go. And I know Brendan's just caught his eyes on here. Look, my eyes are straight on the equity, right? I mean, obviously, if it starts to move, then we know something's out, and we'll get it to you. A big thanks to Tony. Thanks for the double duty on ringing the bell, my man. Big shout out to Lucas and Fahad. A lot of fun today. That should be, there he is. There's everybody. There's Tony. What's up? Good day. It's going to be a fun day bowling. Everyone, the Trader TV Live team's going out on Friday, so that should be great for that one. Shout out to Greg for helping out today. Brandon over there as well. And then Luca, Prad, and Ian on the midday show. Thanks to everybody today. So, Brendan, I guess we're still not out. Nah, so the head nod, the head shake there confirms that. But all right, so for everybody here, I hope you guys sleep well. Tesla earnings should come out very, very soon. As you can tell, we're all very excited. Check out the trade of the day, which is right after this. And we're back tomorrow at 8:30, so check us out then when I'm telling you Tesla will be on the sticky note. Sleep well and good luck to all your longs. Oh, here we go. Let's not do this quickly. Tesla just ran up to 750 quickly here. 752, 754. Obviously, what up, Sharif, man? The guy said 404. It's 403 right now. Don't know if it's out, but there it goes. A nice little move back up to the upside for Tesla. No idea on the numbers. Obviously, if we get them something, we'll come to that. The futures did spike a little bit there, and Tesla comes right back in. So no idea what's going on. 750. You have a $5 spread there on Tesla, but
yeah, we need numbers on that.
yeah, you guys will be able to see it. But that's the initial action. And like I said, man, 6 to 7% implied move, unless something crazy comes out that we don't know about. Tesla right now moving nothing at all. So, all right. Thanks for watching. Tesla's out. It's a $5 spread. We'll see where we go from here. And we will check you guys tomorrow.
Just right now.
Trader TV Live.
Right now. Anyway.
8:30.
Yeah.
Ciao, guys. Ciao, guys.